सर मुलाकात में
कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष सोनिया जी के साथ में मैंने बैठ करके पूरी बातचीत करी, क्योंकि जिस प्रकार से पिछले 50 साल में मुझे हमेशा कांग्रेस पार्टी ने इंदिरा जी के वक्त से ही, राजीव जी थे, चाहे वो बाद में सोनिया जी आ गई, बीच में नरसिम्हा जी प्रधानमंत्री बने, एक वफादार सिपाही के रूप में मैंने काम किया और मुझे हमेशा मेरे पे विश्वास करके मुझे जिम्मेदारी दी गई, चाहे मैं केंद्रीय मंत्री बना हूँ, चाहे मैं प्रदेश कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष बना हूँ, और चाहे मैं AICC के महामंत्री बना हूँ, और चाहे मैं सोनिया जी के आशीर्वाद से तीसरी बार मुख्यमंत्री बना हूँ। राहुल जी भी जब फैसला किया राहुल जी ने, वो तमाम जो क्षण है वो मैं भूल नहीं सकता। उसके बावजूद भी जो घटना हुई परसों के रोज 2 दिन पहले, वो घटना इतना हिला के रख दिया हम सबको। मुझे जो दुख है वो मैं जान सकता हूँ, क्योंकि पूरे देश में मैसेज चला गया जैसे मैं मुख्यमंत्री बना रहना चाहता हूँ, इसलिए सब कुछ हो रहा है। मैंने सोनिया जी से भी सॉरी फील किया है, माफी मांगी है, क्योंकि एक सिंपल प्रस्ताव जो होता है एक लाइन का, वो परंपरा हमारी है कि एक लाइन का प्रस्ताव तो हम करते ही करते हैं, हर मीटिंग के अंदर करते हैं, चाहे चुनाव हो, चाहे मुख्यमंत्री के बारे में कोई फैसला करना हो। एक फैसला करते वक्त में एक लाइन के प्रस्ताव करने का हमारे यहाँ हमेशा से ही कायदा रहा, आप सबको मालूम है। दुर्भाग्य से उस वक्त ऐसी स्थिति बन गई, वो प्रस्ताव पास नहीं हो पाया, क्योंकि मैं सीएम लीडर हूँ, वहाँ पर मुख्यमंत्री हूँ, और मैं उस प्रस्ताव को पास नहीं करवा पाया, कारण चाहे कुछ भी रहे होंगे, तो मेरी मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि एक मुख्यमंत्री होने के बावजूद भी मैं एक प्रस्ताव, एक लाइन का जो हमारी परंपरा है, पहली बार वो परंपरा के अंतर्गत वो प्रस्ताव पास नहीं होगा। इस बात का मुझे दुख हमेशा जिंदगी भर रहेगा, और मैंने सोनिया जी से भी सॉरी फील किया है कि मैं उस काम में कामयाब नहीं होगा। ठीक है, हो गई बात। देखिए ये घटना जो हुई है, इस घटना ने कई तरह के मैसेज दे दिए पूरे देश के अंदर, और मीडिया भी हमारे जो है कई बार किंग मेकर बन जाता है, कई बार वो मीडिया अपने हिसाब से स्टोरी चैनल लग जाता है। आज जब देश में संकट है, मीडिया पे भी संकट है, साहित्यकार, पत्रकार, लेखक जेल में जा रहे, 2-2 साल तक बंद पड़े रहते हैं, इस माहौल में देश चल रहा है। तो मैंने कल रात को भी कहा था, हमारी पार्टी में तो एक तरफ राहुल गांधी जी निकल चुके हैं यात्रा के अंदर, बेरोजगारी, महंगाई के साथ में जो देश के हालात है, शांति, सद्भाव, प्रेम, भाईचारा रहे, ये संदेश दे रहे पूरे मुल्क को वो, और हिंसा की कीमत में नहीं होनी चाहिए, उस माहौल में वो चल रहे हैं। और दूसरी तरफ मैंने उनसे मिला, कोचिंग में जा करके रिक्वेस्ट की कि आप अध्यक्ष का चुनाव लड़ें। आखिर में उन्होंने अस्वीकार कर दिया, मैं मेरी बात को कायम हूँ, मैं इलेक्शन लड़ूंगा नहीं। तो मैंने कहा भाई जो सबकी भावना है कार्यकर्ताओं की, नेताओं की, तो मैं फिर चुनाव लड़ूंगा, ये मैंने कहा था। सुनिए आप, पर अब क्योंकि कल परसों की वो घटना हुई है और मेरी मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी कि वो प्रस्ताव पार होता, तो मैंने तय किया है अब मैं इस माहौल के अंदर चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा, ये मेरा फैसला है। ये फैसला मैं नहीं करूंगा, ये फैसला सोनिया गांधी जी करेगी, कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष करेगी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
ऑलराइट, Gehlot there coming out for the first time after the whole commotion that's taken place. Gehlot saying that I've apologized to Sonia Gandhi. I'm apologetic about what's happened in Rajasthan on Sunday. That was not my intention. I was caught unaware. I've apologized to Sonia Gandhi. Gehlot calls the MLA revolt complete unfortunate affair. Says that he's been a soldier of the Congress party for as long as he knows. He's been very loyal to the party. And now he comes out to say that he's not going to be contesting Congress president's polls. Gehlot there stating that he will remain as the Chief Minister, will not be contesting Congress polls, and also apologizes for all the commotion that's taken place in the state of Rajasthan. This is the first time that Gehlot has now come out explicitly to say that he's apologetic, did not intend that drama that unfolded, was never his intention. He was caught unaware and now apologizes to Sonia Gandhi, saying his loyalties rests with the Gandhi family and explicitly saying he's not going to be contesting Congress president's polls. Here we see the commotion and drama that's only heightened in the Congress, as the Congress now groping their new leader or their new favorites on who they want to see as the next Congress president. They've been trying to scout and select. Gehlot was one of their favorites. And then here we see that Ashok Gehlot, after that commotion that's happened in the state of Rajasthan, has come out for the first time to apologize. He says that he never intended to create that kind of commotion. He never was aware that that would happen. That revolt was surprising to him too. And now that that's happened, he apologizes and he withdraws himself from the race of Congress president. A big twist coming in as the Congress president polls drama now intensifies. Gehlot now apologetic. He says he's conveyed his apology to Sonia Gandhi. He's not going to be contesting polls. In fact, Ashok Gehlot now says that he's going to withdraw himself from the race to Congress president polls. Here, the first time Gehlot is spoken. Listen in.
जो घटना हुई परसों के रोज 2 दिन पहले, वो घटना इतना हिला के रख दिया हम सबको। मुझे जो दुख है वो मैं जान सकता हूँ, क्योंकि पूरे देश में मैसेज चला गया जैसे मैं मुख्यमंत्री बना रहना चाहता हूँ, इसलिए सब कुछ हो रहा है। मैंने सोनिया जी से भी सॉरी फील किया है, माफी मांगी है, क्योंकि एक सिंपल प्रस्ताव जो होता है एक लाइन का, वो परंपरा हमारी है कि एक लाइन का प्रस्ताव तो हम करते ही करते हैं, हर मीटिंग के अंदर करते हैं, चाहे चुनाव हो, चाहे मुख्यमंत्री के बारे में कोई फैसला करना हो। एक फैसला करते वक्त में एक लाइन का प्रस्ताव करने का हमारे यहाँ हमेशा से ही कायदा रहा। आप सबको मालूम है। दुर्भाग्य से उस वक्त ऐसी स्थिति बन गई, वो प्रस्ताव पास नहीं हो पाया।
Gehlot there is just about exited Sonia Gandhi's residence. I'm going to quickly cut across to Maushmi Singh joining us live. Maushmi, Gehlot will not be contesting Congress president's polls. He comes out and explicitly says it and apologizes. Says, I'm very sorry for what's happened. I'm not going to be contesting polls. I never expected this revolt to take place in Rajasthan. It's my apology. Sonia Gandhi has accepted it, and now I'm going to withdraw myself from the Congress president's race. Was this what was expected? Did you hope for another twist in this case, or was this what was more or less going to happen?
See, Nabila, we were trying to assess what's happening in the Congress party. This is big. You know, after Ashok Gehlot's meeting with Sonia Gandhi, he comes out and says that he's not contesting the polls, trying to take the high moral ground as far as, you know, the polls are concerned, clearly indicating that
We can hear you.
काट दिया था फोन.
All right, we're going to try and patch Maushmi there, but here Ashok Gehlot yet again apologizing for what's happened. Let's take a listen. In fact, Ashok Gehlot, who speaks right as he exits Sonia Gandhi's residence, he speaks. Listen in.
सोनिया जी आ गई, मैंने उनसे मिला, कोचिंग में जाकर के रिक्वेस्ट की कि आप अध्यक्ष का चुनाव लड़ें। आखिर में उन्होंने अस्वीकार कर दिया, मैं मेरी बात को कायम हूँ, मैं इलेक्शन लड़ूंगा नहीं। तो मैंने कहा भाई, जो सबकी भावना है कार्यकर्ताओं की, नेताओं की, तो मैं फिर चुनाव लड़ूंगा, ये मैंने कहा था। सुनिए आप, पर अब क्योंकि कल परसों की वो घटना हुई है और मेरी मॉरल रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी कि वो प्रस्ताव पार होता, तो मैंने तय किया है अब मैं इस माहौल के अंदर चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा। ये मेरा फैसला है।
All right, let me quickly cut across to Rahul Gautam, who's right outside the residence of Sonia Gandhi. Rahul, a quick word from you. Ashok Gehlot comes out of the residence of Sonia Gandhi's and says that he's apologetic, never expected such a commotion to take place in the state of Rajasthan, and now he withdraws himself from the race of Congress president. Tell us a little more. What more has he spoken? Is he still there?
No, as we speak, Mr. Gehlot has left from 10 Janpath, and if you hear that sound bite, you can easily make out that it seems that there is mistrust between Mr. Gehlot and Sonia Gandhi now, given the fact that what had happened, that evening in Jaipur. It seems that Mr. Gehlot has fallen off the favor of Gandhi's, and therefore you have a situation now where Mr. Gehlot is going to continue as Chief Minister. And remember, just a week back, he was being hailed as one of the staunch loyalists of Nehru Gandhi family, and now you have a situation where almost a coup happened right under the leadership of Mr. Ashok Gehlot in Rajasthan, in Jaipur, and this was something that was very hurtful for Gandhis, because they never expected, they never thought of that something might happen with Mr. Ashok Gehlot, who has been with the family for almost 4 decades now. Both share a very good rapport, but still, this happened. This was a clear open challenge to High Command, and therefore it seems that and if you see the timing also, if you remember earlier in the morning, Mr. Mukul Vasning reached the residence of Mr. Gehlot. At the same time, Mr. P. Chidambaram also reached the residence of Mr. Digvijaya Singh. Later, when Mukul Vasning left from after meeting Mr. Ashok Gehlot, at the same time, Mr. Digvijay started from his home, reached AICC office, collected the nomination papers, and announced that he is going to contest elections. And at that point of time, if you can pull that sound bite, he said that you just see that who is going to withdraw soon from Congress party's race. So it seems that everything was well planned. It seems that there's mistrust, or there's a communication gap, or the High Command is not ready to believe what Mr. Gehlot is saying. That's why you have a situation now that Mr. Gehlot is not going to contest for the top Congress post, and in fact he is going to remain Chief Minister of Rajasthan. But what it comes as a great shock or a great surprise for Sachin Pilot also, as to what options does he have now, given the fact that obviously he is not going to become Chief Minister. Majority of the MLAs support Ashok Gehlot. So what way Mr. Pilot is going to take, it is something which is going to be very interesting to watch now.
Right, Rahul, stay with us. I'm going to quickly cut across to Gaurav Bhatia of the BJP joining us on the phone line. Mr. Bhatia, a quick word. Ashok Gehlot comes out to apologize, says they never expected a revolt like this, and he's a Gandhi loyalist, would never want to embarrass the Congress High Command, and now he pulls out, withdraws himself from the race to Congress president's polls. Your view on that?
My view would be the view of any citizen. First, this is nothing but a sham, and second, it clearly shows that one family, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Vadra Gandhi, are above the Congress party and all other leaders put together, even the constitution of the Congress party. And third and most importantly, Ashok Gehlot's statement reveals a lot when he says that the decision whether he will continue as the CM or not will be taken by Sonia Gandhi. If a new president is elected, how can Sonia Gandhi take that decision? And when the elections are going on, then also she can't take that decision. But this is the belief system within the Congress, that they serve one parivar, Ala Kaman. And Ala Kaman is more like a Kala Kaman, which is only interest in the benefit that accrue to the family, not to the nation, not to the party workers.
Right. At this point, the Congress says that they are possibly the only party who holds internal election to democratically elect their chief, that who will guide the party in a direction that they want to go. But no other parties, including basically India and the BJP, never having a poll or an election to elect their BJP president. So, let's not preach.
So to that, I would say that you're a very reputed journalist. Your channel is a very reputable channel. 24 years, how many elections did the Congress party hold? 24 years. Did we not see president from one parivar? And in this span of 24 years, we have seen 9 different presidents in the Bharatiya Janata Party, and none of them belongs to the same family. This is the answer to Ashok Gehlot and all these sycophants who are trying to create this illusion which has no substance.
All right, Mr. Bhatia, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to quickly cut across to BJP MLA joining us on the phone line, Rajendra Rathore. Rajendra Rathore ji, we see that Ashok Gehlot has come out and apologized for all the commotion that's erupted in Rajasthan. He in fact says he withdraws himself from the race of Congress president polls and wants to stay focused on the state of Rajasthan as the chief minister. Your take?
देखिए, राजस्थान के अंदर जिस प्रकार की असमंजसता का वातावरण बना हुआ, उसके जनक मुख्यमंत्री थे। ये मुख्यमंत्री जी आलाकमान की नजर में कितने योग्य थे, आज से 1 सप्ताह पहले इन्हें राष्ट्र के लिए नामांकन पत्र भरने के लिए गए और एक झटके में से अयोग्य हो गए। ये इनको नामांकन पत्र राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष भरने से मना कर दिया गया। और जो पहले कहा करते थे कि मेरे सारे साथी एमएलए किसी हालत में इस्तीफा तक दे देंगे, परंतु किसी तरह का नेतृत्व बदलाव नहीं चाहेंगे, आज वही एक तरह से नतमस्तक हो गए कि सरकार सोनिया गांधी चाहेंगे तो मुख्यमंत्री रहेंगे, नहीं चाहेंगे तो मुख्यमंत्री नहीं रहेंगे। यानी एक बार फिर राजस्थान में असमंजसता के काले बादल गहरा गए हैं और कांग्रेस टूटन की तरफ बढ़ रही है। क्योंकि अगर सोनिया गांधी जी ने कहा कि आप मुख्यमंत्री नहीं रहेंगे, तो कांग्रेस के उन विधायकों ने 81 विधायकों ने, जिनमें सारे मंत्री शामिल है, जिनका त्याग पत्र आज भी विधानसभा अध्यक्ष के पास पेंडिंग है, उस पर क्या निर्णय होगा? एक सवाल ये भी है, विधानसभा अध्यक्ष कब तक इन त्याग पत्रों को लटकाए रखेंगे? एक सवाल ये भी है। एक सवाल ये भी है कि अभी भी मंत्री स्थानांतरण उद्योग में लगे हैं, रोज ट्रांसफर की लिस्ट निकाल रहे हैं, पत्रावलियों पर हस्ताक्षर कर रहे हैं और उधर नैतिकता के आधार पर उन्होंने इस्तीफा भी दे रखा।
जी, अब यहाँ पर जो गहलोत कह रहे हैं कि उनकी इच्छा या उनकी इंटेंशन नहीं थी कि ऐसे क्राइसिस हो जाएगा, ये उनका कमिटमेंट है कि राजस्थान को एकजुट रखने के लिए और राजस्थान के लोगों के लिए काम करने के लिए। अब वो विड्रॉ हो चुके हैं इलेक्शन के रेस से, जो कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट पोल के इलेक्शन से, और फोकस करना चाहते हैं राजस्थान के ऊपर। आपका क्या कहना है कि कांग्रेस आएगी ये बार सरकार?
देखिए, इस बार जो कांग्रेस सबसे बड़ी हार की ओर बढ़ेगी। कांग्रेस 2 सीट में आ जाए तो आप मुझे कह देना, मेरा भी एक राजनीतिक अनुभव भी है। और ये बात करते हैं एकजुटता की, वो एकजुटता वहाँ कहाँ चली गई थी? ये आज भी वहाँ के मुख्यमंत्री हैं, अब तो कभी नकारा का कभी ये पहला मौका था। सितारा 5 सितारा 34 दिन रहने के बाद डर के मारे से हमारे मेरे विधायक पर चोट नहीं जाएंगे। आज कांग्रेस की एकता की बात है, कांग्रेस में शासन नहीं है, शासन की बात है। राजस्थान के लोग सरकार नादार्द है और लूट खसोट में लगी है सरकार, इसका खामियाजा इनको भुगतना नहीं पड़ेगा।
जी राजेंद्र जी, यहाँ पर जो सचिन पायलट और गहलोत की जो लड़ाई होती है हर बार, हर 1 साल में उनकी लड़ाई होती है, वो कैसा अफेक्ट करता है राजस्थान के लोगों को?
देखिए, राजस्थान के लोगों ने इनको बहुत छोटे मतों से मैंडेट दिया था, सिर्फ 0.5 से। ये मैंडेट जिस दिन मिला और जिस दिन मुख्यमंत्री जी ने मुख्यमंत्री की शपथ ली, उसी दिन भी लोगों ने एहतजाज किया, लोग पटरियों पर जा बैठे। और उसके बाद अपमान करने की राजनीति राजस्थान की संस्कृति नहीं रही है। मुख्यमंत्री जी ने अपने साथियों को जो नीचा दिखाना प्रारंभ किया, उसी का कारण रहा कि लगातार दूरियां बढ़ती रही और इन दूरियों के कारण से शासन प्रशासन पूरा था। अब अफसरशाही हावी हो गई और अफसरशाही हावी होने के कारण से भ्रष्टाचार का तांडव मच गया और कोई भी नीतिगत फैसले जो सरकार ने लिए, एक को भी कैरी आउट नहीं कर पाए, एक को भी लागू नहीं कर पाए, ना बजटीय घोषणा कर पाए, ना जन घोषणा कर पाए। इसलिए लोग कहते हैं, गली मोहल्ले का राजस्थानी कहता है कि धोखे की सरकार है, ये झूठ और लूट की सरकार है।
जी, अब ये राजेंद्र जी, बहुत आरोप है कि बीजेपी भी ऑपरेशन कमल करने की कोशिश करती है, हर बार उनके कांग्रेस नेताओं को खरीदने की कोशिश करती है। ये आरोप लगाया है गहलोत के एमएलएज ने कि इतने सालों तक इनकी कोशिश, बीजेपी की कोशिश नाकाम रही क्योंकि ये एकजुट है।
ये बेबुनियाद आरोप है, मैं सिरे से खारिज करता हूँ। इनके पर्यवेक्षक इनके गए, पर्यवेक्षकों को आमंत्रित किया गया उस वक्त जब अशोक गहलोत ने उनको आने के लिए ग्रीन सिग्नल दिया, उसके बाद इनके मुख्यमंत्री आवास में बैठक हो और मुख्यमंत्री खुद उसका बहिष्कार करवाए, ये अपनी गुरेबा में अपने आप ही बात है कि देख लें। और इनकी हर झगड़े का के पीछे ये अपने पीछे खड़ा हुआ भारतीय जनता पार्टी को महसूस करते हैं। मैं समझता हूँ ये फोबिया जरूर इनके दिलो दिमाग में हो सकता है, पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कोई लेना देना नहीं। हम तो कहते हैं कि जब इस्तीफा दिया है तो इस विधानसभा को भंग करने का मंत्रिमंडल फैसला करके जनता के बीच में आए तो दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाएगा।
जी राजेंद्र जी, बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you for joining us on that. Let me quickly cut across to Rajdeep Sardesai, who's joining us for a little more, India Today's consulting editor. Rajdeep, Gehlot finally out of the race. He's no more going to be in the running there for Congress president's polls. He's withdrawn himself, saying that he is embarrassed, apologizes to Sonia Gandhi, says he's now going to focus on the people of Rajasthan and the state, maybe to win elections in the coming election. What's your take on this?
Well, the fact, Nabila, is that not only has he said that he's not in the race for Congress president, but he has effectively left any decision on his future in the light of what happened a couple of days ago to the Congress president. So Sonia Gandhi has to now decide on Ashok Gehlot's future. I don't think that that Sonia Gandhi will immediately ask Ashok Gehlot in any way to step down as Rajasthan Chief Minister. That seems unlikely. Because they do not want to open up another front, another crisis, given the fact that Mr. Gehlot still commands the support of a sizable section of MLAs. But post-Diwali, we are told that even that question could be opened up once the Congress president election is decided. So first, the Congress president election to be decided, where Digvijaya Singh ji has already indicated that he is going to file nominations tomorrow. Shashi Tharoor is likely to file. That process will go on for the next 2.5 weeks. Around the 19th of October, we'll know who the new Congress president is. Post that, post Diwali, there is a possibility that we could see a change in guard in Rajasthan as well ahead of next year's election. So Mr. Gehlot clearly seems to have overplayed his hand in his insistence that he would not accept Sachin Pilot in the manner in which his supporters boycotted the Congress Legislature Party meeting, refused to pass a one-line resolution calling Sonia Gandhi to decide who would be the next Rajasthan Chief Minister. So Mr. Gehlot, in a way, appears to have been pushed on the back foot by the refusal of the High Command to accept his demands as they saw it, and thereby there is a question mark now over the future of Mr. Gehlot that will be resolved, I believe, in the next couple of months.
Right. You know, at this point, Rajdeep, there was a lot of talk that Gandhis may just forgive Gehlot and probably push him to contest the Congress president polls, considering that he's possibly the one man who they rest their affection towards. At least the most loyal to the Gandhi family is what Gehlot is viewed as. Now, at this point, when he's pulling out of the race, is there anyone who matches Gehlot's stature and closeness with the Gandhi family?
Well, clearly the plan A, Nabila, was for Ashok Gehlot to become Congress president, move to Delhi, and Jaipur was going to be where Sachin Pilot would move, because apparently the Gandhis had given some kind of an assurance to Mr. Pilot that he would eventually, before the 2023 Rajasthan elections, be made Chief Minister. On your question as to now, what is the plan B now that plan A has not worked, Ashok Gehlot effectively withdrawing himself from the Congress president race, which I can tell you he was reluctant to contest. He was being pushed into it. The plan B as of now would seem to be Digvijaya Singh, who is the only candidate who's filed his nomination. Will there be another candidate in the next 24 hours? Remember, the nomination process closes tomorrow. Shashi Tharoor is going to file 11 a.m. tomorrow. Digvijaya Singh will file sometime tomorrow. We don't know, and there is the possibility not being ruled out of a third candidate also emerging in this fight for Congress president. So clearly, the Congress leadership at the moment doesn't have a ready alternative to Mr. Gehlot, but Digvijay Singh is someone who's organizing the Bharat Jodo Yatra, is a two-time Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, is someone whom has managed to once again win back the favor of Rahul Gandhi in particular. So the possibility exists that Digvijaya Singh, if no other candidate emerges in the next 24 hours apart from Mr. Tharoor, would be the front runner to become the next Congress president.
All right. You know, Rajdeep, a quick word. This whole fight between Sachin Pilot and Gehlot, it's really reflected badly on the Congress party in Rajasthan. Quite a shame there. It's brought to the party high command. But what Gehlot says that what he did or what his MLAs did is hardly a mistake when compared to what Sachin Pilot had done in 2020. No action was taken against Pilot then, and why action against us now? That's more or less the tone with which Gehlot entered Sonia Gandhi's residence today.
You know, I think that is an important point, Nabila, because the fact is that Ashok Gehlot is extremely bitter about what he believes was Sachin Pilot's attempt to bring down his government in August of 2020. And therefore, he claims he has simply not forgiven Sachin Pilot, nor have his MLAs. So therefore, there is a sense within the Gehlot camp that the High Command has been partial, excuse Sachin Pilot for what they believe was a far graver misdemeanor. And they are unwilling to accept Mr. Pilot from what one gathers as Chief Minister of Rajasthan. So that tricky question remains. Can the High Command force Sachin Pilot down the Rajasthan Congress Legislature Party is extremely uncertain. Much depends on how Mr. Gehlot now responds in the next few weeks. Is he someone who's going to quit the Chief Minister's post for Sachin Pilot? Unlikely. Could he quit for a third consensus candidate? Possible. Could he just dig his heels in and refuse to quit Rajasthan, where he remains the party's premier leader? Possible. So I think, as I said, two stages. First, the Congress leadership will intend to solve the problems that have emerged in the Congress presidential race. But post-Diwali, I think you will see some movement in Rajasthan towards ensuring that the Congress party, ahead of next year's elections, where they clearly are on the back foot versus the BJP, do they go along with Mr. Gehlot as tried and trusted, or do they find a fresh candidate ahead of those elections? I think that question will be resolved sometime immediately after Diwali.
So then, in that case, what really happens to the future of Sachin Pilot, Rajdeep? Sachin Pilot is also in Delhi right now. He was hoping that maybe after this meeting, possibly Gehlot will be allowed to contest Congress president's polls and then make way for him as the chief minister. Now, it seems like all his hopes have crashed at this point, Sachin Pilot and his future.
Well, not really as yet, Nabila, because we are told that Sachin Pilot is going to meet Sonia Gandhi later today. There are two options available. Either Mrs. Gandhi, as I said, virtually directs her aides to force the Rajasthan Congress MLAs to accept Sachin Pilot, or Sachin Pilot, as is now being suggested, could be moved to Delhi in some kind of a post of a general secretary in charge of specific states. You're right that we are, just as we are uncertain about what happens to Mr. Gehlot next, there is uncertainty over what happens to Mr. Pilot next. I think the meeting where Mr. Pilot will have with Sonia Gandhi could well settle that, but we don't expect an immediate change in guard in Rajasthan while the Congress is going through this presidential process, because remember, the Congress doesn't have a big majority in Rajasthan. They do not want to lose in any way one of the only two governments that they have. So they will have to handle Mr. Gehlot and his supporters with care. Does that mean that Sachin Pilot could be still kept waiting for a while longer? Possible. So I think we'll have to wait and see what happens post Diwali. But I do expect over the next 4 weeks the status quo to be maintained in Rajasthan before a decision is taken on next moves.
All right. Just as Gehlot got out, as soon as he started his talk with the media, he says, I apologize unconditionally. Well, there's no taking that away, that this was shameful and this has brought embarrassment to the party high command. But I wasn't aware of this. You know, he feigns ignorance right from the start. He's been claiming that he wasn't even aware his MLAs wanted to tender their resignation and they wanted to, almost quit the party if he gave up his post to Sachin Pilot. Is this believable, Rajdeep? Could we really take Ashok Gehlot face value, knowing what a shrewd politician he is?
You know, Nabila, I asked this question to someone close to Mr. Gehlot this morning, who was insistent that Mr. Gehlot had no control over his MLAs. I said, do you really expect us to believe that? Someone of whom it is said, when he's chief minister, patta nahi hilta, leaf doesn't move in Jaipur politically without Mr. Gehlot knowing. Are you seriously telling me that Shanti, Dhariwal, Mahesh, Joshi organized a parallel meeting, unofficial legislature party meeting without any knowledge of Mr. Gehlot? It seems almost impossible to believe that Mr. Gehlot could not have forced the MLAs to come to his house and hold that legislature party meeting. And I don't think either Sonia Gandhi accepts that, nor do any of the Congress leaders in Delhi accept the version of Ashok Gehlot. So I think while he may say that he had no control over the MLAs, it wasn't his fault, he's apologetic about it. I think that generally the Congress leadership believes that this was Mr. Gehlot drawing a line in the sand, saying, look, I am willing to move to Delhi if I am forced to do so, but I will not accept Sachin Pilot in Jaipur. And while he could not say that officially, he got his MLAs to say that. So I think this was part of a conscious political strategy. Although Mr. Gehlot and his supporters are denying the role of the chief minister, it's just difficult to believe that someone like Mr. Gehlot, who has such deep connections in Rajasthan, would have given up so easily, could not have forced the MLAs to come to his house and fall in line. So I think, we will have to take that with a bucket full of salt when the Gehlot camp says that the chief minister had nothing to do with the events of Sunday.
So in that case, what do you suspect that Gehlot was doing? Was he trying to play smart and keep his feet in two boats? He was trying to stay put as the chief minister of Rajasthan and at the same time contest for Congress presidential polls. And only if he won the post as Congress president will he give up his chief minister's chair. So he didn't want this uncertainty to prevail, neither ka udhar, so therefore he held on to the CM's post. Was that greed then?
No, I think, as I said earlier, I don't think Ashok Gehlot was actually very keen to contest the Congress president's post. Ashok Gehlot is not in that sense someone hankering for this post of Congress president. He's much happier being Rajasthan chief minister. That's his comfort zone. He's been a 3-time Rajasthan chief minister, barring of course spells when he's been a member of parliament and general secretary. His comfort zone lies in Rajasthan. He was being pushed into this role because frankly the Congress has few options. Once Rahul Gandhi insisted on saying that I will not take this post of Congress president again, the Congress had a visible lack of option. That's why, Nabila, for the last 2 years, you've seen this situation where Sonia Gandhi is the interim Congress president. Rahul Gandhi is a kind of non-playing captain. He's a captain, but doesn't have the post. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is not seen to be experienced enough to take up the Congress president's post. No one wanted it. It almost seemed, and the second line of leadership in the Congress outside the Gandhis were cancelling each other out. None of them wanted the other to become. So enter Ashok Gehlot as one of only 2 Congress chief ministers, someone with a track record in organization. He's been general secretary organization, someone who can get resources, someone who's an OBC from North India. All of this went in his favor. But the fact is, Ashok Gehlot himself did not really hanker or want the job. He actually wants to continue as Rajasthan chief minister, or even if he has to step down, no Sachin Pilot is what was the chorus within his camp. So I think for Ashok Gehlot, it was, I think the Sunday's events was something where I think he knew at the end of the day, he couldn't get his cake and eat it too. I don't think I think he must have realized that this would be seen as rebellion, but he prefers to be in Rajasthan rather than move to Delhi.
All right, Rajdeep, stay with us. We also have Preeti Chaudhary, who's been tracking those developments in Rajasthan. She was in Jaipur. Preeti, do give us an understanding. Ashok Gehlot finally arrives into Delhi, meets with Sonia Gandhi, apologizes profusely, saying, I did not anticipate this kind of rebellion, and now it's happened. I apologize. I withdraw myself from the race to the Congress president's polls. Now, Gehlot has stepped back. What Rajdeep says, that he was never keen on contesting the polls in the first place. Would you agree with that?
You know, I think we'll bring in Rajdeep as well into this conversation. Rajdeep, it's the optics of it all. I apologize is the first thing that Ashok Gehlot says. He goes on to say, a one-line resolution is our tradition. Unfortunately, a situation arose. I am opting out of the presidential race. But the fact is, Rajdeep, is it Ashok Gehlot opting out, or was he given no option clearly? This seems to be, at least optics-wise, even if the High Command is weakened, it is the High Command clearly showing its grit, showing maybe Ashok Gehlot his place ultimately, even though he's a strong regional satrap.
You know, Preeti, we will really know exactly what happens to Ashok Gehlot in the next few weeks, and that will decide just how far the High Command can go to rein in a strong regional satrap. Does Ashok Gehlot now continue as Rajasthan Chief Minister? The sense I got, Preeti, is that for Ashok Gehlot, being Congress president was not a priority. This may seem at odds with those who believe that this is such a powerful post, it will give him a national image. Ashok Gehlot's comfort zone is in Rajasthan. And if you gave Ashok Gehlot the choice between Congress president and Sachin Pilot as Rajasthan Chief Minister, I think he would choose not being Congress President but preventing Sachin Pilot from being Rajasthan Chief Minister. So deep is the animosity between the two. Now, whether Sonia Gandhi eventually told him nothing doing, you've gone out of line, and therefore, you lose both the jobs. You won't be Congress President, you won't be Rajasthan Chief Minister. We'll know in the next couple of weeks. Until then, we don't know who's forced whose hand. Has Ashok Gehlot forced Sonia Gandhi's hand to deny him now the option of becoming Congress president, or has Gehlot created a situation where he is someone who is much more comfortable in Rajasthan than being in Delhi? Who said no? What actually happened behind those closed doors of 10 Janpath? We do not know as yet, Preeti.
Well, only right now what we're given to understand is KC Venugopal, Sonia Gandhi and Mukul Vasnikno, who were there in that meeting. But Rajdeep, with what Ashok Gehlot has said, at least if you look at it purely optics-wise, him coming out first, apologizing for what went down, then saying he rules himself out of the presidential race, then saying that the one-line resolution has been the tradition of the Congress and he was sorry that it could not happen. Just purely of the kind of messaging that will go down to his MLAs, which till now, till very recently, were publicly muscle flexing, showing Sachin Gehlot and the camp its place. Do you think there will be a certain amount of, they would be disconcerted by what has gone down today?
I think that's a very good question, Preeti, and I think that's exactly what over the next couple of weeks we will unfold. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, but once they know that Ashok Gehlot is no longer Congress president, once they know that he's possibly been admonished by the Congress High Command, that the High Command has in a way reined in Ashok Gehlot, then it's possible that a large number of fence-sitter MLAs, who could be at least 40, 50 out of the 100-odd Congress MLAs, could well, go along with exactly what the High Command wants. Now, whether that's Sachin Pilot or whether that's a third candidate, as often happens in the Congress when you have two candidates battling each other, we don't know. But it is certainly more and more likely that once Mr. Gehlot is out of this Congress president race, his position as Rajasthan Chief Minister becomes vulnerable if the Congress High Command decides to make their displeasure public. Remember, for now, they've spoken through the likes of Ajay Makan, but it is possible that in the days ahead, we'll have more voices coming out and saying Ashok Gehlot crossed a certain Lakshman Rekha. You may have those voices in Jaipur and Delhi. That doesn't necessarily mean Sachin Pilot will become the Chief Minister, but it is possible that Mr. Gehlot could end up losing both jobs post-Diwali.
But, is that even a possibility right now, Rajdeep? Because where optics are concerned, isn't this enough and just about where the Congress High Command is concerned? Where till yesterday he said he was keen on fighting elections. He said that publicly. Now he's gone ahead with that meeting, come out, apologized, ruled himself out. Is this public punishment or whatever limited sense of it is enough? Because Rajasthan is 1 year away from elections. Understandably, right now with what we see, the majority of MLAs lie with Ashok Gehlot. Will the Congress High Command actually rock the boat to just make a point on the superiority or, what is the proverbial High Command here? Or do you think they'll just let him go and lead Congress to elections?
I don't think, Preeti, at the moment the Congress High Command can afford to completely isolate and antagonize Ashok Gehlot. I don't think that's going to happen in a hurry. But as I said, post-Diwali, once the new president is in place in Delhi in the next couple of months, it is possible that Rajasthan could see some churning. The elections are October, November next year. So we've got a year before that. It is possible that what the Congress will now do is buy time. Each side now has made its point. Mr. Gehlot made its point on Sunday by drawing a Lakshman Rekha as to what is acceptable and what is not. I think the Congress leadership today has also drawn a line saying if you are going to defy us in the manner that you did, then we also do not want you here as Congress president. So both sides, Preeti, I think have made their points. And now that the points have been made, I think there will be an effort to buy time, allow the process of Congress president to be complete. And then a month, 2, 3 months down the line, when the dust has settled, I think that decision will have to be taken. Whether Ashok Gehlot leads the Congress into the 2023 election or the Congress goes in with a new face, whoever that be. I don't think that decision has been settled as yet. And while you're right that Ashok Gehlot commands the support of the majority of the MLAs, those MLAs, as you earlier said, could well switch sides once they know that the High Command no longer has confidence in Mr. Gehlot. But I don't think that's going to happen right away. For now, I think Mr. Gehlot will be allowed to go back to Rajasthan as Chief Minister.
You know, Rajdeep, appreciate you joining us. Has Ashok Gehlot cut his nose to spite his face? Did his MLAs play their cards too early? All speculation. What we're given to understand, Nabila, is that just about after 5 o'clock is when Sachin Pilot will be meeting Sonia Gandhi. So that meeting also on the cards. What is it that will go down here? Because at least by the sense that we are getting right now, it seems that Ashok Gehlot clearly ruled out of the presidential race, remains to be CM right now. For how long is that question?
And what really happens to Sachin Pilot? That's what I'm keen on knowing too. But for now, thank you very much, Preeti and Rajdeep. On the other side of a short break, I'm going to take you through the Congress Bharat Jodo Yatra that enters Karnataka. Rahul Gandhi's posters and hoardings all torn apart in Chamarajnagar, Karnataka. Chief Minister Bombay says Gandhi Sayan doing Bharat Todo. More details up next.
You are watching India Today.
खेल पत्रकारिता में करियर बनाने का सुनहरा मौका। ज्वाइन करें इंडिया टुडे मीडिया इंस्टीट्यूट।
रजिस्टर करने के लिए www.indiatodaymediainstitute.in पर विजिट करें।
मंत्रिमंडल ने 1 जुलाई 2022 से देय केंद्र सरकार के कर्मचारियों और पेंशन भोगियों को 4% की दर से महंगाई भत्ते और महंगाई राहत की अतिरिक्त किश्त जारी करने की मंजूरी दी है। सालाना 12,852 करोड़ रुपए का बोझ सरकारी खजाने पर पड़ेगा और 8 महीने के लिए, जो अभी हम जुलाई 2022 से फरवरी 2023 तक देखें तो 8,568 करोड़ रुपए का बोझ वित्तीय वर्ष 2022-23 में पड़ेगा। लेकिन इससे लाखों ऐसे सरकारी कर्मचारी और जो पेंशन धारक हैं उनको लाभ मिलेगा।
For the first time, humanity has demonstrated the ability to autonomously target and alter the orbit of a celestial object. The impact of DART into the asteroid Dimorphos was confirmed at 7:14 p.m. Eastern Time when the DART Mission Operations Center here at APL lost signal with the spacecraft. Now, normally, losing signal from a spacecraft is a very bad thing, but in this case, it was the ideal outcome
So we're going to be seeing that data come down soon in the next couple of days, and then over the next 2 months we're going to see more information from the investigation team on what period change did we actually make, because that's our number 2 goal. Number 1 was hit the asteroid, which we've done, but now number 2 is really measure that period change and characterize how much ejecta we actually put out.
Karishma, this clearly adds to the fiscal burden. How do you see the government's expenditure position currently in comparison to what was estimated in the budget early this year?
Well, absolutely right. The Union Cabinet today extended the Anna Yojana scheme by another 3 months. The scheme, which was introduced during the pandemic, was extended by 6 months until September 30, and now will be under implementation until December 2022. This has gone through various extensions, to be honest. The whole motive of the scheme was to help people with the 5 kg food grains per person per month, which benefited more than 80 crore people in India, to reduce the hardships that were faced by people. But Finance Ministry expressed displeasure in further extension of this scheme because of the kind of burden it would hold on their fiscal estimates. Already it is because of fertilizer subsidy, excise cuts on fuel, and first extension of Anna Yojana in this financial year. We are looking at an additional expenditure close to rupees 2.5 lakh crore. Anna Yojana costed government almost rupees 80,000 crore for the last 6 months, and in total, if you see, the whole scheme has costed an expenditure of close to rupees 3.5 lakh crore. Now, the next 3 months, that is the latest extension, the government will have to shell out close to rupees 44,000 crore. While of course clearly this is more than what government had estimated in its budget, but sources tell us that government is confident that they'll be able to balance it with revenues, and they're also confident that despite inflation, despite this additional expenditure that has come, they will not be going ahead with additional borrowing.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
All right, here's some big breaking news coming in. Jasprit Bumrah, who suffered a back injury and was rested versus South Africa, likely now to miss the World Cup as his back has sustained a fracture. Medical team conducted scans and have suggested no cricket for minimum of 6 months for him. Sources have said now Shami or Deepak Chahar will be making their way into the squad and this call will be taken by selecting committee. Big blow there coming for Team India right ahead of the World Cup, as we see that Bumrah now out of the T20 World Series. Jasprit Bumrah, who suffered a back injury, was rested. He's likely to miss the World Cup now as his back has sustained a fracture. Medical team has conducted scans and have suggested no cricket for a minimum of 6 months for Jasprit Bumrah. In fact, sources have said how now likely Shami or Deepak Chahar will be making their way into the squad. And this will be, a decision on this will be taken by the selection committee. Nikhil Naz joining us live for a little more on that. Nikhil, very tragic. Jasprit Bumrah, one of the finest players for Team India, is now going to be rested for the next 6 months. He will not be participating in the World Cup. How does that affect Team India's prospects?
Well, Nabila, it's a major blow because Jasprit Bumrah is not just the #1 bowler that the Indian team has. In fact, if you were to take a look at world cricket, he'd be probably one of the #1 standout bowlers that you have, an impact performer and just ahead of the T20 World Cup. So that is going to be a big blow for the Indian team. However, the signs were already there. He had been rested just leading up to the T20 World Cup. He'd been out from active cricket for close to 2 months. At that time, speculations were rife that he might be nearing in on a stress fracture, and just to avoid that, that's why he's been rested. When he made a return to the Indian team and his name was announced in that series versus Australia, there were hopes that maybe he's getting back to full fitness and they might ease him into that Australia series, then followed by the South African series, and by the time the World Cup comes along, he'd be completely fit. However, he missed that first game versus Australia, but came on to play the next 2 games and then misses the first game versus South Africa. Now, questions would be asked of the BCCI medical team as to why was he then rushed into playing. Was those 2 games that he played versus the Australian team really responsible for aggravating that injury, or was the BCCI team just hoping against hope and wanted him to get some sort of game time before the T20 World Cup, or they wanted to test waters? Either way, now that the decision is out, he's unlikely to be available for the T20 World Cup. If you're looking at 6 months, then that actually goes past the T20 World Cup. You're looking at a few more crucial matches beyond that, but him being out, it's going to be a major blow. And the problem is made worse by the fact that the backup bowlers that you were looking at, you just mentioned Mohammad Shami's name or Deepak Chahar's name. Deepak Chahar has been along with the team, hasn't got too much game time. Mohammad Shami was expected to get some game time. He was down with COVID and didn't get to play either the Australia series or the South Africa series. Either way, whoever you go in with as a backup would never be close to Jasprit Bumrah, and even if you take that bowler, he's going to be very, very fresh and not really in the flow of things.
All right, thank you very much for joining us on that. Jasprit Bumrah has now been asked to rest for the next 6 months. Unfortunate for Team India as he will be missing the World Cup. All right, shifting our focus here, a day before Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra reaches Karnataka, we're looking at Rahul Gandhi's hoardings in Chamarajanagar being vandalized by miscreants. Over 40 hoardings of Rahul Gandhi that's been put across that entire district on that highway of Gundlupete has been torn apart late last night. Congress leaders now have alleged that BJP workers have torn these flexes of Rahul Gandhi and other Congress leaders that were put up on these highways passing through the Gundlupete highway. Bharat Jodo Yatra will be entering Karnataka on the 30th of September at Gundlupete in Chamarajpete district. And ahead of that, this kind of commotion, Congress says it's nothing but BJP fearing that their yatra is receiving traction.
BJP ಅವರು ಪಾಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಯಾನರ್ನ ಹರಿದಾಕಿ ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವೇನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಹೆದರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಥವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಎದುರಿಸಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಅಭಿಯಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಅವರು ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಏನು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಮಗೂ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರಿಗೂ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವರು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳದೇ ಇರಲಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ ವಿಚಾರ ಬಿಡಲಿ.
ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಯಾರೇ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಲಿ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರಿಲ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಎರಡನೇದಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಹರಿಯುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಜನರಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಯಾರು ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಭಾರತ್ ತೋಡೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಅದರ ಯಾವುದೂ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಭಾವನೆ.
BK Hariprasad, it's a political stunt ಮತ್ತು election gimmick and PFI banning.
I mean, what is it that they have found new? This thing has been going on for a couple of years now. So it is quite natural that the timing is suspect. And this is all being done to intimidate us to go easy on the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
All right, as we see, days after D.K. Shivkumar was grilled by the Enforcement Directorate in the National Capital in connection to the PMLA case, Congress Karnataka chief D.K. Shivkumar has now alleged that the CBI officials have raided his residence today. And while he spoke exclusively to India Today, the Congress top man has said the probe agency carried out inspection at various properties. Meanwhile, his party colleague BK Hariprasad has linked the CBI searches to Bharat Jodo Yatra, accusing the BJP of targeting the Congress leaders due to rousing reception for Rahul's rally.
I mean, what is it that they have found new? This thing has been going on for a couple of years now. So it is quite natural that the timing is suspect. And this is all being done to intimidate us to go easy on the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
All right, cutting across to some more big news coming in. The Supreme Court's landmark judgment on termination of pregnancy. The Supreme Court, basically abortion law, Supreme Court has stated that there is no reason to restrict the provision of abortion only to married women. In fact, abortion has now been allowed until 24 weeks of pregnancy, and no distinction will be made between married or unmarried women. But importantly, the Supreme Court also says that rape will also be included as marital rape. It will be included in if at all there is rape that happens in marriage, it will be considered as marital rape. Supreme Court has now granted interim relief to the 25-year-old petitioner who was unmarried and was denied permission by the Delhi High Court to terminate her 24-week pregnancy, subject to an AIIMS medical concluding that fetus can be aborted without the risk to the life of a woman.
Today is the special day because today is International Safe Abortion Day, and the passing of this judgment on this day in itself is a remarkable and historical in itself, not only for India but for the rest of the world also. Now the discrimination that has been eliminated by the Honorable Supreme Court today, the violation which was prevailing between married and unmarried of Article 14, Article 21, it is eliminated now completely.
One step ahead given the fact that marital rape is now being considered by the Supreme Court. So we now know what is going to come out from the judges. So I'm sure they are going to criminalize marital rape, but it's not for me to say that. But I strongly feel that yes, it is a wonderful judgment, and their lordships have not only gone into unmarried or married women, they have gone into the violence being inflicted by the men on the mental thing. You know, you cannot force it, whether it's force, coercion, pestering, whatever it is. A woman has the right, she has a complete autonomy and independence over her body.
From an abusive marriage, a woman may not want to bear a child, and it is for her to decide if she wants to continue with this pregnancy or not. So for women especially, I mean, the most notable part of this judgment today is that this is entirely right based. They've given you a rights perspective rather than administrative or a medical perspective.
Thanks now to the SC, and yes, the government must put into place all the administrative structures that are required for the execution of this particular verdict.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने एक बहुत ही अच्छा निर्णय दिया है, बहुत प्रोग्रेसिव निर्णय दिया है कि कोई भी महिला अगर वो अपना अबॉर्शन करवाना चाहे तो वो करवा सकती है। मैं ये मानती हूँ कि ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्रोग्रेसिव निर्णय है और दिल्ली महिला आयोग इसका पूरी तरीके से स्वागत करता है। अभी कुछ समय पहले ही हमने देखा था कि कैसे यूएस की सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये कहा था कि महिलाओं को अबॉर्शन का की कोई आज़ादी नहीं है। तो इस परिप्रेक्ष्य में अगर देखा जाए तो हमारे देश के सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने एक बहुत अच्छा, बहुत प्रोग्रेसिव निर्णय लिया है।
The 5 major takeaways from the judgment will be: first, it actually recognizes the reproductive rights of the women. Second, it has broken the ceiling between married and unmarried women. Thirdly, it certainly talks about the problems that women had to face in where the concept of marital rape comes. So what about those women and those sufferings that women go through? Then it also talks about the consent of the women in terminating the pregnancy where they have a consensual relationship. So before the marriage, then the idea of live-in relationship it talks about. And lastly, this judgment considers the aspect of the women with respect to Article 14 and says that the reproductive right, it should be acknowledged and it should be accepted under Article 14 of the Constitution, which talks about right to equality.
So this is a very big first step towards marital rape, making it legal, So we are happy that at least Supreme Court could acknowledge that there is a problem existing, and even if, they were not very much keen to make marital rape legal, but at least they have taken this step where the women can choose to keep the child or to abort the child with her wish in case there is a marital rape happening. So I think it's a very big step. It is a history now in making, and I'm pretty sure that in future they will acknowledge the fact of marital rape also.
All right, here's some big news coming in. The Ministry of Home Affairs has now increased Ambani's security. Z plus security given by the Ministry of Home Affairs to Mukesh Ambani. Increased security based on Intelligence Bureau reports, threat perception that prevails on the Ambanis. This is an intel report that suggests that there is high threat for Mukesh Ambani. Therefore, Z plus category security has been issued to Mukesh Ambani. Ministry of Home Affairs increases Ambani security. Z plus security given by the Ministry of Home Affairs to Mukesh Ambani. All right, coming up on the other side of a short break, Hurricane Ian, one of the most powerful storms ever recorded in the United States, lashed at Florida coast on Wednesday. We bring to you more details on the other side of the short break. Stay with us.
You are watching India Today.
The government has extended its flagship Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana by another 3 months until the end of the year. The extension coincides with Gujarat Assembly elections and is expected to cost the central government an extra 44,000 crore rupees and would further dip into food stocks.
For 800 million poor spread across India, this festive season promises some relief. In a big move, the central government has extended the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana for a 7th time till 31st of December. The scheme, launched in March 2020 to help the poor tide over the COVID lockdowns, provides 5 kg of food grains per person every month, free to beneficiaries over and above the normal quota provided under the National Food Security Act at a highly subsidized rate of Rs 2 to 3 per kg. The scheme, originally intended for just 3 months, has already been extended 6 times. Around 3.45 lakh crore rupees has so far been spent on feeding the poor. The fresh 7th extension is expected to cost the exchequer another 44,762 crore rupees.
प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण अन्न योजना को अगले 3 महीने के लिए मंजूरी दी है, उसके विस्तार के लिए मंजूरी दी है। 80 करोड़ से ज़्यादा लोगों को इसका लाभ मिलता है।
Concerns have also been raised over the depleting levels of food stocks in the country and how the extension of the Anna Yojana will further strain the situation. The central procurement of wheat this year plunged to just 18.7 million tons from 43.3 million tons last year. The current wheat stocks in the country are at a 14-year low of 25 million tons. Rice stocks are also at a low of 24.6 million tons. Against this monthly offtake of this scheme is around 700,000 tons of wheat and 3.3 million tons of rice. This does not include the offtake under the older ration scheme, under which 20 lakh tons of wheat are distributed every month. There is also concern that rice procurement, which begins next month, may fall short of targets, affecting the overall food security of India.
La main des aides-soignants. Pourquoi ? Parce que les aides-soignants aujourd'hui, ils sont globalement sous l'eau. Ils ne peuvent plus faire leur métier qui est de soigner. Et donc nous, Emobots, on leur fournit cette information de l'état émotionnel. Ils vont pouvoir mieux comprendre l'évolution de l'émotion de leurs résidents, de leurs patients. Et derrière, on sera aussi capable d'objectiver. C'est-à-dire qu'aujourd'hui, quand on fait un test pour la dépression, c'est un test normé, ponctuel. On demande à la personne de verbaliser les informations. Et donc ça pose plein de problèmes. Et notamment de difficultés pour les personnes qui ne peuvent pas verbaliser.
Watching India Today.
All right, Hurricane Ian has lashed the United States Florida coast on Wednesday, unleashing torrential rains and howling winds. Visuals from the hurricane, which is now one of the most powerful storms ever recorded in the United States, have shown reporters being blown away by those gusty winds and sharks occupying the city streets there after they were washed ashore. The Category 4 storm slammed Florida coast, leaving more than 1.8 million people in Florida without electricity. As the storm triggered massive floods everywhere in Florida, United States government has sent 300 ambulances with medical teams and was ready to provide 3.7 million meals, 3.5 million liters of water once the storm passes.
RV might be okay.
All right, here's a quick roundup of the top international stories. Iran has attacked an Iranian Kurdish opposition group in the Kurdish region of northern Iraq. At least 9 people have been killed, several injured. The attacks have come after protests have rocked Iran for the last 11 days. At least 6 people were injured in shooting at a Northern California school campus. The shooting happened on a street where there were multiple schools and houses aligned. 15 people are missing, 3 dead, 14 injured after a bridge collapsed in the northern Brazilian state of Amazonas. The bridge had a crack, had caused a traffic jam before the collapse. The United States will not recognize Russian-annexed areas across Ukraine amid what the White House on Wednesday called as illegal and illegitimate referendums that were manipulated by Moscow and would be challenged internationally. The United States will provide an additional $1.1 billion in aid to Ukraine, with funding for about 18 more advanced rocket systems and other weapons to counter drones that Russia has been using against Ukrainian troops. All right, for all that and more, you could log on to indiatoday.in. You could also download our app for more. Stay tuned. News and updates coming up next.
You are watching India Today.
Tell us about the car. Do you think this is the right time to bring a Tata Tiago EV? You have already sold 425,000 vehicles in the ICE segment. Now this EV is here. Do you think that strategic timing has matched your expectations?
See, for quite some time we have been saying that we have the aspiration of bringing 10 products in the next 5 years. This is the fourth nameplate. We had a Nexon EV, we had a Tigor EV, we had a fleet segment product which was Express T, and we have this fourth product which is coming. We had also said that out of these 10 products will be a different affordability point with more range options and more importantly different body styles, because consumers in India have very nuanced tastes and very different tastes, and their preferences for body style is quite different. So we wanted to have all these representative body style already covered. So we had first come with a Nexon EV which was an SUV, then we came with a sedan, and now we have launched a hatch. This hatch is the most accessible vehicle, at the same time ensuring that the premium quotient of electric vehicle and the aspiration that is now around electric vehicle is done full justice. That's why we have come with very premium features which are not seen in hatches, like telematics and automatic climate control. Many features have been given. So I think this is going to really disrupt the market, because this matches the need of the electric vehicle customers. At the same time, it comes at a price which is pretty close to what you would get in this segment in an ICE world also for an automatic car. So I think this is going to really take the benefit of, as you rightly said, the ICE which is already successful, the Tiago ICE, because of its stylish design, best-in-class safety, very agile driving experience. It will build on that. It will take it to the next level. I think it will add to the volumes of Tiago, which is already strong.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
Well, welcome viewers. You're watching the latest on India Today. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Just a short while ago, Ashok Gehlot has come out ruling himself out of the presidential race. What does that mean to the Congress conundrum of who will be the next president of the party, and what happens to the Rajasthan Chief Minister's chair? Also, what about Sachin Pilot? All those questions answered right here. First up, the headlines. Ashok Gehlot pulls out of the Congress president race, apologizes to Sonia over rebellion by his loyalist MLAs, says Congress chief to decide if he remains Rajasthan chief minister. A day before Congress Bharat Jodo Yatra enters Karnataka, Rahul Gandhi posters and hoardings torn in Chamarajanagar. Chief Minister Bommai says Gandhi's scion doing Bharat Todo. This is a big India Today impact. Nitish Kumar takes note of Bihar IAS officer who asked अब क्या condom मांगोगे to girl students seeking affordable sanitary napkins? Bihar Chief Minister assures action on the IS officer. Shocking Garba jihad from Ahmedabad. Bajrang Dal members thrash Muslim youth for attending Garba event. Allege he was there to lure Hindu women. It is a big setback to Team India's World Cup squad. Jasprit Bumrah sustains back injuries, advised a 6-month break from cricket. Because it's a huge mega twist in the race for the top Congress job. After a meeting with Sonia Gandhi, Rajasthan Chief Minister, a short while ago came back. Once considered the top contender for the post, the most trusted lieutenant of Sonia Gandhi has now opted out of the race. The question, has he been made to opt out because of what went down in Rajasthan over the last 4 days, or he did it of his own volition? Gehlot states that he will no longer contest for the Congress presidential polls, and the decision on whether he will remain the Rajasthan Chief Minister after the rebellion led by his MLAs will remain with Sonia Gandhi. Now, with Gandhi dropping out of the race, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor and senior Congress leader Digvijaya Singh are now front runners for the top post.
मैंने उनसे मिला, कोची में जाकर के रिक्वेस्ट की कि आप अध्यक्ष का चुनाव लड़ें। आखिर में उन्होंने अस्वीकार कर दिया। मैं मेरी बात को कायम हूँ, मैं इलेक्शन लड़ूंगा नहीं। तो मैंने कहा भाई, जो सबकी भावना है कार्यकर्ताओं की, नेताओं की, तो मैं फिर चुनाव लड़ूंगा, ये मैंने कहा था। सुनिए आप, पर अब क्योंकि कल परसों की घटना हुई है और मेरी मॉरल रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी कि वो प्रस्ताव पार होता, तो मैंने तय किया है अब मैं इस माहौल के अंदर चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा। ये मेरा फैसला है। ये फैसला मैं नहीं करूंगा, ये फैसला सोनिया गांधी जी करेगी, कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष करेगी। जो घटना हुई परसों के रोज 2 दिन पहले, वो घटना इतना हिला के रख दिया हम सबको। मुझे जो दुख है वो मैं जान सकता हूँ, क्योंकि पूरे देश में मैसेज चला गया जैसे मैं मुख्यमंत्री बना जाना चाहता हूँ, इसलिए सब कुछ हो रहा है। मैंने सोनिया जी से भी सॉरी फील किया है, माफी मांगी है, क्योंकि एक सिंपल प्रस्ताव जो होता है एक लाइन का, वो परंपरा हमारी है कि एक लाइन का प्रस्ताव तो हम करते ही करते हैं, हर मीटिंग के अंदर करते हैं, चाहे चुनाव हो, चाहे मुख्यमंत्री के बारे में कोई फैसला करना हो। एक फैसला करते वक्त में एक लाइन का प्रस्ताव करने का हमारे यहाँ हमेशा से ही कायदा रहा। आप सबको मालूम है। दुर्भाग्य से उस वक्त ऐसी स्थिति बन गई, वो प्रस्ताव पास नहीं हो पाया।
My colleague Jai Kishan Sharma, who's joining us live from Jaipur. Jai Kishan, how is it being taken by especially the loyalists of the Gehlot camp? Because all of them, till about yesterday, were confident that Mr. Gehlot will fight the nominations for president.
See, Preeti, this has come as a big setback for all the Gehlot camp loyalists. We were talking to one of the Gehlot camp MLAs just few minutes ago. They were not saying anything on record, but off the record they said that they were sure that Ashok Gehlot will contest elections of national president, but it is a major blow to the Gehlot camp MLAs, Gehlot faction MLAs, but still the Gehlot supporters are confident of the fact that he will continue to serve Rajasthan as the chief minister. They are sure that he will not be removed, he will not be sacked from the post of chief minister in Rajasthan. Today, Govind Ram Meghwal, cabinet minister in Rajasthan government, had made it very clear. Yesterday, Prasadi Lal Meena also made it very clear that it's better to go for midterm elections rather than to vote for anybody who sat with BJP in 2020. They say that they are ready for midterm elections, but they will not vote. They are not ready to accept anybody from that camp who went to Manesar in June 2020. On the other hand, Ved Pratap Solanki called the ADs and close persons of Ashok Gehlot as the listener. He used word like dalal. So basically a war of words has broken out in Rajasthan. The Gehlot camp MLAs are taken back by this move that he will not contest the national election post, but they are confident that he will continue to serve as Chief Minister, and this is what they wanted, and this is what also Mr. Ashok Gehlot wanted. Preeti.
Well, a setback of sorts, but Jai Kishan, now what? What about all those MLAs who are the fence-sitters? Which side of the divide will they join?
See, Preeti, they are clear on their stand that they will continue to support Ashok Gehlot. They want to see Ashok Gehlot as the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Today, Govind Ram Meghwal, Cabinet Minister, said that only Ashok Gehlot can bring a majority and they can repeat the Congress government. Ashok Gehlot government schemes are very popular, especially in the rural pocket, which comprises 70% of the total voters of Rajasthan. So they are confident that it's only Ashok Gehlot which can repeat the Congress government state. They were very clear. Today they showed a video where Ved Pratap Solanki, who is a Sachin Pilot faction MLA, sitting with this BJP chief Satish Punia. So they have launched a scathing attack. They have made serious allegation against Ajay Makhan too. They have leveled serious allegation against Sachin Pilot and his camp MLAs. In a press conference today around 1 p.m. they showed a video where Ved Pratap Solanki met Satish Punia last year, and they made the video public. They said that they had submitted a report to Ajay Makhan last year on 7th September 2021, but still no action was taken against them. They raised the question. Right. They said that they want to spread their voices in front of the high command of the Congress.
All right, Jai Kishan, appreciate you joining us. We're going to continue to get back to you for more updates. Meanwhile, what about the question viewers, who will be the next president of the Congress party? Digvijaya Singh's entry is a surprise move. Last week, when India Today spoke to the Congress MP, he had downplayed the reports of him contesting the elections. But a lot has changed in the last 1 week.
At a time when the Congress most would have thought would put all its energies into the Bharat Jodo Yatra, guess what? The buzz is Kaun Banega Congress President, and even your name is being now mentioned as a potential Congress President nominee. Are you going to contest in the first instance?
First of all, it doesn't have any impact on the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Bharat Jodo Yatra is carrying on, and with huge response each day. Yesterday in Kochi, it was more than 70,000 people who were walking and who attended the public meeting. So it doesn't have any impact as such. As such, the election of the President AICC is concerned, the notification has been issued and the forms are to be filed between 24th to 30th of September. So that's it.
No, but are you in the race? Because there was talk that you've flown into Delhi, you will be meeting Sonia Gandhi, that you've said, why can't I also be in the race? Why only Gehlot or Tharoor?
No. It was more of a spin than the facts. I had no appointment with Congress President Sonia Gandhi ji, and I have not sought any appointment with her because there is no issue which I want to discuss with her at the moment.
Meanwhile, a day before Rahul's Bharat Jodo Yatra enters Karnataka, Rahul Gandhi hoardings in Chamarajnagar vandalized by miscreants. Over 40 hoardings of Rahul Gandhi put up across the district were torn late at night. Congress leaders allege that BJP workers tore the flexes of Rahul Gandhi and other Congress leaders. Now, Bharat Jodo Yatra will enter Karnataka on the 30th of September at Gundlupet in Chamarajnagar district.
ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯವರು ಅವರು ಪಾಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಯಾನರ್ನ ಹರಿದಾಕಿ ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವೇನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಹೆದರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಥವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಎದುರಿಸಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಅಭಿಯಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಅವರು ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಏನು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಮಗೂ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರಿಗೂ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವರು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳದೇ ಇರಲಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ ವಿಚಾರ
ಬಿಡಲಿ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಯಾರೇ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಲಿ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಎರಡನೇದಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಹರಿಯುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಜನರಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಯಾರು ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಭಾರತ್ ತೋಡೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಅದರ ಯಾವುದೂ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಭಾವನೆ.
BK Hariprasad says it's a political stunt ಮತ್ತು election gimmick and PFI banning.
I mean, what is it that they have found new? This thing has been going on for a couple of years now. So it is quite natural that the timing is suspect. And this is all being done to intimidate us to go easy on the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
Meanwhile, days after he was grilled by the Enforcement Directorate in the capital in connection to the PMLA case, Congress Karnataka Chief D.K. Shivakumar has alleged CBI officials raided his residence today. Speaking exclusively to India Today, Congress's top man in the South state said the probe agency carried out inspection at his properties. Meanwhile, his party colleague B.K. Hariprasad linked the CBI searches to the Bharat Jodo Yatra, accusing the BJP of targeting Congress leaders due to the rousing reception of Rahul's rally.
I had personally requested should just give me time. Our elections and all these programs are over. But in the meantime, yesterday they had with the officials, they have come and visited all my properties in my village. They have gone to the place where my mother stay and all my houses. I don't know, but ultimately my staff members and my local leaders informed me that they had come, they have visited. And they had a look at everything. They just wanted some document with the officials and they are gone. They had FIR was been filed some 2 years back on a separate case. 2 years, 3 years are gone. Raid has happened already 6-7 years, 5 years back. After that, I don't know why they are just they are done. They were finished long back itself. Then I came and I requested them, yes, you please give us some time. Already from last 2 years, you are just sleeping on it. Now why are you just starting it now? I am too busy with other political work and my constitution.
Shifting focus, the political slugfest between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP continues in the national capital. BJP General Secretary for Delhi, Kuljit Singh Chahal, surrounded Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal by questions regarding the RTI filed of the education system, after which the CM was seen getting up. Kuljit Singh, who is a member of NDMC, questioned the Chief Minister regarding the education model. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal got up and left the meeting. Meanwhile, releasing a video of the meeting on social media, BJP launched an attack on the CM. The BJP leader filed an RTI regarding the status of Delhi Corporation schools, to which he asked the CM why no meeting was held with the teachers. He questioned the CM over the development in schools.
आरटीआई बताती है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी मुख्यमंत्री दिल्ली के नगर पालिका परिषद के स्कूलों में कोई भी दौरा नहीं किया और उसको लेकर फंड नहीं लगाया। ये आरटीआई बता रही है। वो आरटीआई बताती है कि वहां के स्टाफ के अपग्रेडेशन के लिए आप एजुकेशन मॉडल की बात करते हैं, गुजरात में जाके पॉलिटिकल फंड। एक मिनट पूरा सुन लो। आप में अपनी बात सुनने की हिम्मत नहीं है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी एक बोगू साथ बिठा कर रखते हैं, इतने डरते हैं क्या? ये आरटीआई महज कागज नहीं, ये आपकी कारगुजारी का चिट्ठा है। ये बताती है आपका मॉडल आपकी विधानसभा में फेल है। दूसरा, ये आरटीआई बताती है कि यहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए आरटीआई है, यहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए अपग्रेडेशन के लिए अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने पिछले 7 सालों में कुछ भी नहीं किया। एनडीएमसी के बच्चों का विकास नहीं होगा। आपके विधायक कहते हैं कि मुद्दा नहीं है। एनडीएमसी में अरविंद केजरीवाल जी प्रवास मूवमेंट नहीं करेंगे। आपके विधायक कहते हैं मुद्दा नहीं है। आप मान लीजिए कि एनडीएमसी के डेवलपमेंट में, आपके विधानसभा के डेवलपमेंट में अरविंद केजरीवाल फेल है, 0 है, और अगर आपका मुद्दा नहीं है तो हम मान लेंगे।
एक नई फिल्म हमें देखने को मिली है, भाग केजरीवाल भाग, और वो भी तब भाग जब वो जनता के सवाल उनके ऊपर उनसे पूछे जा रहे थे। जब समस्याएं आई तो आपने उनको पीठ दिखाई, यानी भाग गए। उनके कल्याण के लिए करना तो दूर, उनकी बात को सुनना भी वो पसंद नहीं करते हैं। आज दिल्ली की जनता ने ये पहचान लिया है केजरीवाल जी कि आप सिर्फ जनता के सामने प्रचार और प्रचार उसी में मस्त रहते हैं। अपनी फोटो दिखाओ और प्रचार करो, यही एकमात्र एजेंडा केजरीवाल जी आपका है।
विजय नायर, समीर महेंद्रू की अरेस्ट के बाद जो तथ्य सामने आए, जो हम पहले दिन से कह रहे थे, आज वो सारी बातें सीबीआई और ईडी भी मान रही है। अभी तो 2 अरेस्ट हुई हैं, वो आने वाले दिनों में ये नरेंद्र सिंह जैसे लोग, कमिश्नर जो हैं और मनीष सिसोदिया, सब लोगों को जो दिल्ली में उन्होंने करोड़ों रुपया लूटा उसका हिसाब देना होगा।
प्रधानमंत्री जी से अगर पूछा जाए कि दिल्ली सरकार के स्कूलों में प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कितना फंड दिया है और उनसे बदतमीजी की जाए तो हर टीवी चैनल पे चलेगा कि प्रधानमंत्री जी से बदतमीजी की, और हमें इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि प्रधानमंत्री जी दिल्ली के स्कूलों में कितना पैसा दे रहे हैं। केंद्र सरकार के स्कूलों में पैसे के लिए आप मुख्यमंत्री से पूछ रहे हैं, ये बहुत ही अजीब बात है। मुझे लगता है कि मर्यादा जो है वो हरेक को उसका पालन करना चाहिए। आप अगर इज्जत चाहते हैं तो इज्जत करना भी सीखनी चाहिए।
The latest viewers, Vijay Nair, who's the AAP's communication head, has been sent to 5-day CBI custody, while Manish Sisodia's close aide Sanjay Mahendru has been sent to the ED custody till October 6th. AAP has claimed political vendetta. The probing agencies have levelled serious charges.
Two big arrests in 2 days. The Delhi liquor gate scandal has blown wide open. While the Aam Aadmi Party's communications in charge, Vijay Nair, is in 5-day custody of the CBI, Sameer Mahendru, a close of Deputy Chief Minister Sisodia, has been sent to ED custody till 6th of October. As Aam Aadmi Party top leadership claims political vendetta, the investigating agencies have levelled some serious charges. The CBI alleges that Vijay Nair was involved in formulating the 2021 and 22 Delhi excise policy. The agency further claims that Nair also arranged meetings between liquor manufacturers and distributors at hotels in Hyderabad, Mumbai and Delhi. The CBI says Nair also arranged illegal money through Hawala operators. This was done for arranging 6% commission out of 12% profits from wholesale distributors of major brands of liquor in Delhi. The charge is that this 6% commission was alleged for other co-accused in the case, Manish Sisodia and 3 other officials in the excise department. India Today has also accessed details of the Enforcement Directorate probe against Sameer Mahendru, an alleged associate of Manish Sisodia and owner of Indo Spirits. The ED says that Mahendru earned 50 crores in 9 months under the Delhi government's new excise policy. The amount is alleged to be proceeds of crime. It has been alleged that Mahendru was one of the major beneficiaries of violations in the liquor policy. He was not only running a manufacturing unit for a wine cooler called Bro Code and a Japanese whiskey called Enso under Indo Spirit, but he was also given a wholesale L1 license and some retail L7 licenses in the name of his relatives. The ED now wants to confront Sameer Mahendru with the seized evidences in the case. With Munish Pandey, New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
A quick break. When we return on the other side, Nitish Kumar takes note of Bihar IAS officer who asked, "Ab kya condom mangoge?" That's more coming up on the other side.
You are watching India Today.
My headmistress said that
I remember her name Mrs. Fernandez. She said, Alia, come in the front. Everybody will sing like Alia. So now Alia sing. And I started singing, and I remember loving the fact that everybody was looking at me. I remember just like, wow, they are looking at me. Like there's no other attention is only for me right now. And that was it. After that, it was only all about the attention and how people looked at me and how good and great I was.
She came to a photo shoot of mine, which my friend Sumit Chopra was shooting me, with her little water bottle and a little change of costume in her little bag with her nanny at that time, Sharda, and patiently sat around and took pictures like a pro.
Well, India's most affordable electric vehicle car has officially been launched by Tata Motors, and I'm standing with that vehicle. Tata Tiago EV has been launched officially. Let me just quickly give you a sneak peek inside the vehicle. The vehicle comes with a whole lot of features that you would probably find in an expensive electric vehicle, but yes, Tata Motors has kept in mind about the affordability factor for a common man. Launched at 8.49 lakhs, the price is reserved for about 10,000 first customers, about 4.25 lakh vehicles already sold. Let me just give you a quick look about how the vehicle looks at behind. This Tiago EV badging has been very aggressively put out to ensure the vehicle looks very attractive. About 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, 315 kilometer range in the higher battery of 24 kWh, and the 19 kVh would offer a range of about 250 kilometers. And about 8-year, 1,60,000 kilometer warranty given on the battery and the motor, and you would eventually save up about 90 to 95% of the cost if you would particularly drive this vehicle. So clearly, an in-depth review will be given later on when we get to drive this car, but the first looks of it, the Tata Tiago EV would definitely be a hot seller for Tata Motors.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
All right, viewers, the latest news break that is coming in right now. Nitish Kumar has said that he is monitoring the situation and will take action if any wrongdoing. This is regarding the IAS officer who had in fact turned around and in the most belligerent, shocking manner told young girls who were seeking access to better and safer sanitary pads. She said, कि अब क्या तुम condom मांगोगे? To which the Bihar Chief Minister has stepped in and says, will take action if the officer is found guilty. Viewers, there is clearly a video documented which suggests the appalling thing that this IAS officer said.
उन लोगों के लिए तो हम मदद कर ही रहे हैं, महिलाओं के लिए, और मालूम नहीं है, हम लोग भी कई बार जाते रहे, देखते रहे, इसलिए हमको भी अभी यहाँ आ रहे थे, उसी समय मिला, हमने तत्काल एक-एक चीज को देख रहे हैं, अगर जरा भी होगा एक्शन लिया जाएगा, चिंता मत करिए.
All of this at the back of outrage after top Bihar woman official taunted young girls seeking cheap sanitary pads. The NCW has also taken cognizance of the matter, and Harjot Kaur had said, "Ab kya condom mangoge?" when she was asked if these girls could access cheaper yet safer sanitary napkins. The Commission has also sought a written explanation. The reply must be communicated within 7 days. Leaders across the party lines have condemned the issue. In the video that has gone viral, Harjot Kaur can be seen replying to the students that there any end to their demands. Kaur's shameful tirade did not end there. She went on to say, tomorrow you'll even ask the government to give you jeans, beautiful shoes. In the end, when it comes to family planning, you'll want free condoms too. Soon after the storm, Harjot Kaur issued a clarification stating it's an attempt to malign her reputation.
20 रुपया का ये बिस्कुट ही दे सकते हैं।
अच्छा, ये जो तालियां भी बजा रहे हैं, इस मांग का कोई अंत है? 20 और 30 रुपए का बिस्कुट भी दे सकते हैं, कल को जीन पैंट भी दे सकते हैं, परसों को सुंदर जूते क्यों नहीं दे सकते हैं, नर्सों को वो नहीं कर सकते, और अंत में जब परिवार नियोजन की बात आएगी तो निरोध भी मुफ्त में ही देना पड़ेगा, है ना?
सबसे पहले तो उस आईएएस को अप्रिशिएट करना चाहिए था कि आप खुलकर इस बात को बोल रहे हो। मुझे लगता है कि आईएएस ने बहुत ही गैर जिम्मेदाराना और एक शर्मनाक तरीके का और एक हास्यास्पद जवाब दिया है जो नहीं होना चाहिए था। मुझे लगता है उनको स्क्रीन में सामने आके, वो भी एक महिला है, उनकी भी बच्ची होगी, उनको कहना चाहिए कि मुझसे गलती हो गई।
ये इतनी बेहूदी बात है जो उन्होंने कही, और अब वो कह रहे हैं कि मैंने कही नहीं, जबकि उसका पूरा वीडियो मौजूद है, सबको मालूम उन्होंने कहा। और वो एक बात नहीं कही, उन्होंने कई बातें की। और मुझे तो ये बहुत अच्छा लगा कि वो लड़की उनकी बात से दबी नहीं, वो अपनी बात को कहती रही और उनका जवाब देती रही। लेकिन उनकी बात इतनी संवेदनहीन थी और इतनी बेहूदी थी कि ऐसी जगह पर क्या ऐसे लोगों को होना चाहिए, ये बड़ा सवाल है।
It shows the myopic view of most women in India, yet we absolutely criticize such a careless, heartless, sarcastic comment. We demand that such words be taken back and that the state government take action against such a negligent, careless, sarcastic MD who represents the state government.
ऐसे पद पे पहुंचने के बाद में ऐसे बात करना और ऐसी भावनाएं भड़काना, मुझे लगता है कि ये कहीं संवेदनाहीनता है, उसमें कोई सोशल बात नहीं है। ये बहुत निंदनीय का।
She is an IAS officer, yet she is completely unaware of the reality of this country. Even today in this country, there are hundreds and thousands of girl students who drop out of schools because they do not have access to sanitary pads. The moment they start periods, many of them are forced to drop out of school. And this is the situation in this country. So why is it that free sanitary napkins cannot be provided? And why is it that this lady has answered in such a brutally obnoxious manner? I think she needs to be made answerable, and I think she needs to be removed from her post.
All right, a huge uproar where citizens in Bihar and otherwise are concerned, especially at the comment coming in of the IAS officer, where she turned around and said, would you rather in a few months you'd even ask for condoms? Listen it.
कितने बड़े पद पे होके इस तरह का बयान अशोभनीय है। आप इतने बड़े पद पे हो कि आप ऐसा बात बोल कैसे सकते हैं? सैनिटरी पैड हो या फिर और कोई भी चीज़, आपसे वो जीन्स टी शर्ट या फिर सिगरेट पीने के लिए नहीं मांग रही थी। आप बीइंग ए वुमन, आपको ये चीज़ पता होनी चाहिए कि महिलाओं का ये बेसिक नीड है। और आप जैसा उच्च अधिकारी, इतनी पढ़ी लिखी महिलाएं जब इस तरह का बात बोलेगी तो फिर एजुकेशन सिस्टम पे ही सवाल है।
ये बिल्कुल सरासर गलत है। ये गलत वे में बोली हैं वो कि आज सैनिटरी पैड मांग रही, कल को वो मांगेंगी तो ये गलत है। सैनिटरी पैड तो हम लोग का ज़रूरत है, बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम से हम लोग बचते हैं, ये तो ज़रूरी है, हर लड़की हर लेडीज़ को ज़रूरत है।
Whereas moving on, twin blasts have rocked Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur. NIA has been roped in to investigate the twin blasts. Jammu Zone Additional DGP Mahesh Singh, in a special conversation with India Today, said, as per the initial investigation, it seems that terrorists may have used sticky IED bombs to carry out the attacks. The probe in the matter is underway. Udhampur witnessed two blasts in an hour span of 8 hours. The blast took place in a parked bus at the old bus stand in Udhampur district early Thursday morning. However, no injuries or casualties were reported. Meanwhile, on Wednesday at around 10:45 p.m, a similar mysterious explosion occurred in a bus at Dumail Chowk, in which 2 people sustained injuries.
ऐसे मैं गाड़ी में सोया था, ऐसे धमाका हुआ, मेरे को कोई पता नहीं चला क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ। जैसे मैं ऐसे उठा, देखो तो मेरी गाड़ी में कांच ही मेरे ऊपर कांच पड़ गई थी, ऐसे ब्लड आ गया था। मैंने देखा क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ, मेरे को पता नहीं चला। उसके बाद उन्होंने चेयर पे बिठाया, इधर बैठो, इतने पुलिस वाले की गाड़ी आई, उन्होंने गाड़ी में बिठा के हॉस्पिटल में लाया।
अभी तक जो प्राथमिक जांच हुई है उसमें क्या चीज निकल कर आई?
अभी तो बिल्कुल शुरुआती जांच है और इसमें ऐसा लगता है कि दोनों जो ब्लास्ट हैं उनमें समानताएं हैं। इन समानताओं को हम देख रहे हैं, एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, इन पे विचार कर रहे हैं और ऐसा और लगता है कि स्टिकी बॉम्ब की संभावना होने की चांसेस हैं। स्टिकी बॉम्ब हो सकता है ये और टाइमर डिवाइस होगा। जब स्टिकी बॉम्ब यूजुअली टाइमर डिवाइसेस के साथ आते हैं। कई सारे मॉड्यूल्स पे हम पहले से भी काम कर चुके हैं, कई मॉड्यूल्स को हमने एप्रीहेंड भी किया है, उनको ख़त्म भी किया है और कुछ हो सकता है बचे कुछ मॉड्यूल्स हैं जिनकी जांच चल रही है।
Indian Army's Northern Command's headquarter is located here in Udhampur district. So one can understand the sensitivity of the situation. Security has been tightened not only in Udhampur district but all across Jammu and Kashmir. And here I will just show you some pictures. The bomb disposal squad has collected some evidence and they are right now trying to find out the nature of the blast that took place in Udhampur. One at the Domel Chowk and second here at the old bus stand. So the security agencies are in the process of, collecting evidence. They are trying to establish the nature of the blast. But given the past cases, if we look at the past cases that have taken place, terror angle emerged in that. However, it has not been confirmed by the authorities yet. We need to wait for an official confirmation. But the authorities are on their job. The security agencies are on their job and they are trying to establish the nature of these blasts and they are trying to find out whether there was a terror angle in this or not. With video journalist Neeraj Kumar, this is Sunil Bhatt reporting from Udhampur in Jammu and Kashmir for India Today. Broken glass is scattered all over and the bus was, major portion of the bus was blown into pieces. And as we try and walk through this bus, you can see that broken glass is scattered all over and there has been massive damage to this bus. I will just ask my camera person to show you the pictures of this side. This is the spot where passengers keep their luggage and bags and see, it's in tatters. Massive damage has taken place and this was a major conspiracy of the terrorists to create mayhem in Udhampur district of Jammu and Kashmir just ahead of Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit.
Meanwhile, let's get you other top stories from across the nation today. The Telugu Desam Party chief N. Chandrababu Naidu has alleged YSRCP replaced images of Hindu gods and goddesses with party colours in the temple town of Tirupati. A picture surfaced on social media went viral of YSRCP flag painted over a compound wall in Tirupati. Reacting to the news, the officials have said the paintings did not just have blue, green and white patches of YSRCP flag but were done up along with paintings of freedom fighters. Meanwhile, Congress leaders allege that BJP workers tore more than 40 flexes of Rahul Gandhi and other Congress leaders in Karnataka. Flexes were installed to welcome Rahul Gandhi ahead of the Bharat Jodo Yatra reaching Karnataka. The Bajrang Dal continues to run riot during Garba celebrations this Navratri after saying they will not allow Hindus to take part in Garba celebrations due to love jihad fears. They have been carrying out surprise checks at different venues. Not just that, 4 non-Hindu youth were found by VHP workers at a Garba event in Ahmedabad. 3 succeeded in fleeing while 1 was caught and brutally beaten up. A video of unknown miscreants performing horrific stunts on a moving train has gone viral. In the video, 3 boys can be seen clinging onto a hinge on the train compartment and hanging upside down. All the while, passengers watched in fear. Congress took a swipe at Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Man's over extra security, claiming 42 vehicles are part of the Punjab Chief Minister's convoy. Adding that Badal had a convoy of just 33 vehicles himself and he was the chief minister with the maximum security in Punjab. Quick break coming up. Hurricane Ian, on one of the most powerful storms ever recorded in the US, lashed out at Florida coast on Wednesday. We bring you details.
are watching India Today.
Dr. Chinoy, the rupee once again continuing with this consistent depreciation, reaching a new low today. How worried should one be?
Rajdeep, I think one needs to understand what's happening globally. We're seeing market movements that we haven't seen in decades over here. And the genesis of all of this, Rajdeep, is that the US Fed is on course to raise interest rates to, close to 5%. The last time this happened was 2007. An entire generation has grown up with, zero interest rates and low for long. This is brand new phenomena. Now, what higher US interest rates do is suck away capital from all economies towards the US. And therefore, many currencies are in a tailspin. Just to put this in perspective, the euro is currently today at the lowest level since 2001. The British pound is at the lowest level in more than 5 decades. The Chinese yuan today was at the lowest level since 2007. So this is a phenomena that's affected all currencies, both advanced economies and emerging markets. India is no exception. We will, be at the receiving end of the shock. And I think prudent macro management would suggest that we don't resist this beyond a point. A calibrated, gradual currency depreciation actually is a good safety valve. It's a seatbelt against the shock, and will ensure that at the end of this process, India's exports are not uncompetitive. So this is a necessary, response to unprecedented global market movements in the last 2 decades.
But having said that, as you rightly said, the rupee seems to be doing relatively better vis-a-vis the dollar compared to other global currencies. But how far can we go in protecting the rupee? Is there a point at which we should be worried in allowing the rupee to find its own level in the times that we are?
So Rajiv, one thing is that the future is very uncertain because all of this will hinge critically on what happens to the US Fed. If the Fed were to remain hawkish and keep raising interest rates, till the first quarter or second quarter of next year, we need to be realistic that the pressure is going to sustain.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
The Supreme Court's landmark judgment on the termination of pregnancy has been a huge boost to women's rights in the country. The Supreme Court stated there is no reason to restrict the provision of abortion only to married women. Abortions have not been allowed until 24 weeks of pregnancy, and no distinction will be made between married or unmarried women. Importantly, the Supreme Court also said that rape will also include marital rape for the purpose of abortion. Supreme Court has granted interim relief to the 25-year-old petitioner who was unmarried and was denied permission by the Delhi High Court to terminate her 24-week pregnancy, subject to an AIIMS medical concluding that the fetus can be aborted without risk to life of the woman.
Today is the special day because today is International Safe Abortion Day. And the passing of this judgment on this day in itself is a remarkable and historical in itself, not only for India, but for the rest of the world also. Now the discrimination that has been eliminated by the Honorable Supreme Court today, the violation which was prevailing between married and unmarried of Article 14, Article 21, it is eliminated now completely.
ये एक अपने आप में बहुत ही अहम फैसला है, बहुत ही मायने रखने वाला, एक नया बदलाव लाने वाला समाज में महिलाओं के लिए, सभी के लिए। अगर आप इसको निचोड़ के तौर पे देखें तो मुझे लगता है कि अगर इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन तरीके से होता है, अगर सही तरीके से किया जाता है, तो आप आने वाले समय में देखेंगे कि समाज में एक बहुत बड़ा बदलाव आएगा।
One step ahead, given the fact that marital rape is now being considered by the Supreme Court. So
we now know what is going to come out from the judges. So I'm sure they are going to criminalize marital rape, but it's not for me to say that. But I strongly feel that yes, it is a wonderful judgment, and their lordships have not only gone into unmarried or married women, they have gone into the violence being inflicted by the men on the mental thing. You know, you cannot force it, whether it's force, coercion, pestering, whatever it is. A woman has the right, she has a complete autonomy and independence over her body.
From an abusive marriage, a woman may not want to bear a child, and it is for her to decide if she wants to continue with this pregnancy or not. So for women especially, I mean, the most notable part of this judgment today is that this is entirely right based. They've given you a rights perspective rather than administrative or a medical perspective.
Thanks now to the SC, and yes, the government must put into place all the administrative structures that are required for the execution of this particular verdict.
Today, this particular judgment by the Supreme Court, which allows pregnancy of an unmarried woman also to be aborted, I think it's a landmark judgment, and especially when this judgment has come, when the Supreme Court has tried to reverse the judgment of a lower court, which had actually denied an unmarried woman to abort her pregnancy. So I think it's an important judgment, it's a landmark judgment, and I totally welcome it.
Thanks a lot. The 5 major takeaways from the judgment will be: first, it actually recognizes the reproductive rights of the women. Second, it has broken the ceiling between married and unmarried women. Thirdly, it certainly talks about the problems that women had to face in the where the concept of marital rape comes. So what about those women and those sufferings that women go through? Then it also talks about the consent of the women in terminating the pregnancy where they have a consensual relationship. So before the marriage, then the idea of live-in relationship it talks about. And lastly, this judgment considers the aspect of the women with respect to Article 14. It says that the reproductive right, it should be acknowledged and it should be accepted under Article 14 of the Constitution, which talks about right to equality.
So this is a very big first step towards marital rape, making it legal, So we are happy that at least Supreme Court could acknowledge that there is a problem existing, and even if, they were not very much keen to make marital rape legal, but at least they have taken this step where the women can choose to keep the child or to abort the child with her wish in case there's a marital rape happening. So I think it's a very big step. It is a history now in making, and I'm pretty sure that in future they will acknowledge the fact of marital rape also.
All right, let's get you the latest now. Hurricane Ian lashing out at the US's Florida coast on Wednesday, unleashing torrential rain and howling winds. Visuals from the hurricane, which is now one of the most powerful storms ever recorded in the US, showed reporters getting blown away by the gust of the wind and sharks occupying the city streets after they were washed ashore. A Category 4 storm slammed the Florida coast, leaving more than 1.8 million people in Florida without electricity. The Hurricane Ian triggered massive floods everywhere in Florida. The U.S. government sent 300 ambulances with medical teams and was ready to provide 3.7 million meals and 3.5 million liters of water once the storm passed. A quick look at all the international stories. Iran's attacked an Iranian Kurdish opposition group in the Kurdish region of northern Iraq. At least 9 people killed, several injured. The attacks come after protests have rocked Iran for the past 11 days. 6 people were injured in a shootout at a Northern California school campus. The shooting happened on a street where there are multiple schools and houses. 15 people are missing, 3 dead and 14 injured after a bridge collapsed in the northern Brazilian state of Amazonas. The bridge had a crack that had caused a traffic jam before the collapse. The United States will not recognize Russia-annexed areas across Ukraine amidst what the White House on Wednesday called illegal and illegitimate referendums that were manipulated by Moscow and would be challenged internationally. The US will provide an additional $1.1 billion aid to Ukraine with funding for about 18 more advanced rocket systems and other weapons to counter drones that Russia has been using against Ukrainian troops. Quick break, gear up for Ponniyin Selvan, first epic film on the Cholas. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
அரசகுலத்தில் ஒருவரை அந்த விண்மீன் பலி கொள்ளும் என்றனர் சோதிடர்கள்.
You are watching India Today.
In what could be a defining moment for the aviation industry, an all-electric aircraft took its first flight in the US. The plane is built to carry 9 passengers and 2 pilots. The flight, which lasted 8 minutes, much longer than that of the Wright brothers more than 120 years ago, could herald a major shift in the highly polluting industry.
Alice, the sleek new aircraft, took off at 7:10 a.m. from an airport in Washington state on the northwest corner of the United States. The aircraft sounded a little strange, without the usual scream of jet engines expelling nearly a ton of air per second. All because Alice is powered by 21,500 small Tesla-style battery cells and not by aviation fuel. The plane flew for 8 minutes, reaching an altitude of 3,500 feet, with speed peaking at 275 kilometers per hour. Developed by US and Israeli engineers, the aircraft is built for short hops.
So we're looking at developing an airplane that will fly, 1 to 2 hours, which is typical for that segment. So, 150 to 250 nautical miles with reserve, and that's what we're targeting for our initial entry into service.
According to the company, the aircraft produces no carbon emissions, significantly reduces noise, and costs a fraction to operate per flight hour compared to light jets or high-end turboprops. The aviation industry accounts for around 3% of total carbon dioxide emissions. The manufacturers say the charging time will not be a handicap for the aircraft's operators.
And we're targeting, call it 30 minutes of charge for an hour of flight time, or about 2C if you're looking at the lingo.
The company already has orders from DHL Express for cargo planes and 2 regional airlines for commuter aircraft. There is, however, no word yet on the cost structure of the aircraft. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
Welcome back. Now, Mughal rulers, their legacies and history have long dominated the world of cinema in India. But with Mani Ratnam's magnum opus, Ponniyin Selvan, one hitting the screens, the Chola's ancient dynasty is finally getting its due.
வானில் ஒரு பெரும்பால் விண்மீன் தோன்றியது. சோழ அரசகுலத்தில் ஒருவரை அந்த விண்மீன் பலி கொள்ளும்.
In an industry that has largely ignored it,
India's greatest ancient dynasty, the Cholas, are all set for an epic correction. Amidst a wave of sentiment over the ancient southern dynasty being sidestepped by historians and filmmakers, one of India's greatest movie makers, Mani Ratnam, is all set to bring the Cholas back. While the Mughal Empire has justifiably seen grand productions in Bollywood and beyond, a stubborn sticking point has remained: that the older and grander Chola dynasty hasn't received its rightful due.
The Cholas were so far ahead. They had achieved so much. They had, created so much that it still stands today. There's been a lot of predecessors who have done so much, who have achieved so much, who have conquered so much, who had an amazing naval force and things like that. So it's something that we can put out.
The issue continues to be a divisive one, with historians either welcoming renewed interest in the largely ignored Cholas or wondering whether the new fascination is manufactured and contrived. Either way, thousands of years later, the all-star cast of Mani Ratnam's next film know that an enormous legacy sits on their shoulders. The film comes at a time when the public and political discourse has become increasingly disenchanted over ancient indigenous dynasties like the Cholas and Mauryas, failing to attract filmmakers who have preferred to flock to subject matter over Mughals, perceived in this face-off as invaders. Obviously, the divide has been a point of politics too. India's Home Minister had this to say earlier this year.
इतिहास लिखने वालों ने साम्राज्यों का जग भी जिक्र आया तो मुगल साम्राज्य की ही चर्चा करी। चालुक्य साम्राज्य 600 साल चला, मौर्यों ने 550 साल तक समग्र राष्ट्र पर अफगानिस्तान से लेकर लंका तक राज्य किया, मगर इस सब पर संदर्भ ग्रंथ नहीं लिखे।
According to one estimate, Mani Ratnam's new magnum opus will be only the 6th Indian film ever made that's set in the Chola Empire. The number of films set in the Mughal Empire, including the blockbuster Jodha Akbar, is at least 5 times that number at over 30 films, many of them with their own enduring legacies. As a vibrant and sometimes vicious debate intensifies over India's ignored dynasties, will Mani Ratnam's upcoming film correct what is deemed by millions to be an injustice in our lifetimes? The countdown to Ponniyin Selvan 1 has begun. Bureau Report, India Today.
On to some sports now. Team India suffered a huge blow ahead of the T20 World Cup as pace spearhead Jasprit Bumrah has been ruled out of the tournament due to a stress injury. The Indian pacer suffered a back injury before the Asia Cup this year as well, which ruled him out of the tournament. After recuperating at the NCA, Bumrah played 2 T20s against Australia. With Bumrah set to be ruled out for the 4 to 6 months, India might look to add Mohammad Shami or Mohammad Siraj in their side. Although Shami is part of the reserves along with Deepak Chahar, filling Bumrah's void could be tough. India will play their first match of the T20 World Cup on October the 23rd against Pakistan in Melbourne. We leave it at that, but we do leave you with these visuals of a bear entering a chocolate factory in Kunur at night and tasting the chocolate there, taking rounds of the internet at night in the surrounding areas of Kunur, Nilgiri district. The bear enters the Highfield chocolate factory and kept it as it was taken for sale. The video footage of the bear roaming inside the factory and eating chocolate was recorded on CCTV cameras.
Watching India Today.
The rupee collapsed to a new record closing low driven by a soaring dollar. The Indian currency plunged 37 paise to close at 81.94 against the US dollar. The dollar index is at a 2-decade high as people across the globe turn to the greenback to hedge over fears of recession. While the RBI has been intervening to help the rupee, State Bank of India is of the view that it might be better for the Reserve Bank to allow the rupee to depreciate a little and let it find its natural balance. But what will the RBI do next? Take a look at this special report.
As the Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee begins its deliberations on whether it should raise the interest rates to rein in inflation, it most certainly has the unprecedented fall in the rupee in its sights as well. The rupee has fallen more than 10% this year, closing today at an all-time low of 81.94 against the US dollar. It is, however, still better than the other major world currencies. The Japanese yen has lost nearly 30% of its value against the dollar this year. The British pound has slipped 21% to below $1. The euro is down 18%. Even the Chinese yuan is down around 12% this year. It's this global currency meltdown that the Finance Ministry is taking comfort in, stressing the rupee has performed much better than its peers and that it is not the rupee falling but the rise of the dollar.
How other currencies are behaving versus the dollar. If any one currency which has held its own and behaved in such a way or held its own and did not get into a fluctuation or volatility as much as other currencies, it is the Indian rupee. We have held back very well. We are keeping, RBI and the ministry are keeping very close watch over it.
The RBI has meanwhile regularly intervened in the money market, selling dollars, trying to stabilize the rupee and minimize volatility, generously dipping into its huge foreign exchange reserves. In the process, however, the reserves, which peaked at $642 billion on the 3rd of September 2021, have fallen nearly $100 billion in a year to $546 billion. It's, however, becoming clear that the traditional measures are not helping RBI, with the rapid interest rate hike in the US negating all intervention by the Indian Central Bank. There have been suggestions that it is time for the RBI to take some extraordinary steps. The ball was set rolling in July, with the RBI relaxing norms for FCNRB, NRE deposits and ECBs. However, to support the rupee further, the RBI may open a special window for oil importers who are the major consumers of forex.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected device.
In association with LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. Audiatron.
Poster Todo Nataka in Karnataka. Hours before Rahul's Yatra enters the state, mega poster war erupts. Congress points fingers at the BJP. Bommai snipes with Bharat Todo taunt. State of War Karnataka. Top focus on 5 Live with Shivaru.
If
It's the one state that most political analysts believe the Congress has a fighting chance. Karnataka, it's a state in which the Congress party has been in power until pretty recently. And you've got a Bombay government that has been shaken by one controversy after another and is generally perceived to be on the back foot going into this election. Will Rahul Gandhi's yatra, amidst all the other Congress's problems and crises happening in Delhi, will it boost their political campaign in the poll-bound state, or will it unravel like so many other things in the Congress's hands? I'm Shiv Arur. We're going to debate that. This is 5 Live. These are the headlines. Ashok Gehlot pulls out of Congress presidential race, apologizes to Sonia Gandhi over rebellion by his loyalist MLAs, says the Congress chief will decide if he remains the Rajasthan chief minister.
तो मैंने तय किया है अब मैं इस माहौल के अंदर चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा, ये मेरा फैसला। ये फैसला मैं नहीं करूंगा, ये फैसला सोनिया गांधी जी करेगी, कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष करेगी।
Big India Today impact. Nitish Kumar takes note on Bihar IAS officer who asked, "Ab kya condom mangoge?" to girl students seeking affordable sanitary pads. Bihar Chief Minister assures action against the shameless IAS officer.
तत्काल एक-एक चीज को देख रहे हैं। अगर जरा भी होगा एक्शन लिया जाएगा, चिंता मत करिए।
Allegations of so-called Garba Jihad from Ahmedabad. Bajrang Dal members thrash Muslim youth for attending Garba event. Alleges they were there to lure Hindu women. Two similar blasts in 8 hours inside public buses in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur. 2 injured in the first blast. Police probe explosions. Big setback to Team India's World Cup squad. Jasprit Bumrah sustains back injury, advised a 6-month break from cricket. Hours before Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra finally enters Karnataka after a shocking 19 days in Kerala, a full poster Nataka has exploded. This morning, posters and flexes, those big plastic cutouts, featuring the Congress MP and State Congress Neta Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar were torn and vandalized in parts of the state. The Congress party has blamed the BJP's dirty tricks department for the poster war. But the Bombay government is not taking these allegations lying down. Remember, Rahul Gandhi and his Yatra army enters Karnataka tomorrow.
Rahul Gandhi will be setting foot in Karnataka on Friday. But merely 24 hours before the Bharat Jodo Yatra's entry into the poll-bound state, the showdown has already begun. Rahul's flex posters are vandalized. Siddaramaiah's posters torn apart. And flex posters of the Congress's top man in the state, DK Shivakumar too, targeted. The BJP and Congress are now locking horns over the poster war.
ಮೊದಲೇದಾಗಿ ಯಾರೇ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಲಿ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದೇ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಹರಿಯುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಜನರಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ.
ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಅಭಿಯಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಲಿ. ಅವರು ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಏನು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಮಗೂ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರಿಗೂ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ.
That isn't all. Just 10 days after he was grilled by the Enforcement Directorate, the CBI raided DK Shivakumar's several properties in connection to a money laundering case. The Karnataka Congress chief claims the ruling BJP is carrying out a witch hunt against him.
ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ನನಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಬಂತು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ. CBI ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ತಹಶೀಲ್ದಾರ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ನನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಆಸ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನ, ಊರಿನ ಆಸ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಏನು ಯಾವ ದಾಖಲೆ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ದಾಖಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಆಗಲೇ. ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಪಾಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕನಕಪುರದ ಮನೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಊರು ಮನೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ತೋಟದ ಮನೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಸ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
The Grand Old Party claims the CBI raids are an attempt to deflect from the rousing reception that is ready for Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra.
This thing has been going on for a couple of years now. So it is quite natural that the timing is suspect. And this is all being done to intimidate us to go easy on the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
With the state elections inching closer, the battle is only heating up. Bureau Report, India Today.
Sagai Raj joins me live from Bengaluru on this big story. Sagai, lots of anticipation by the Congress party. Big swagatam for Rahul Gandhi into Karnataka tomorrow. Flexes being torn. A lot of action being taken on the ground as well. What's the mood in the Congress party before Rahul's arrival?
The mood in Gundlupet seemed to be quite electrifying for the Congress workers, but on the other side, if you notice, BJP have started a campaign against Congress. Apart from vandalizing the posters as well as the flexes in Gundlupet and Mysuru, what you also get to learn is they have started a campaign against Congress, where they have put up the posters of AICC President Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi involving in National Herald scam. Remember the PCM campaign which has been started by Congress. To counter that, they have put out these posters from Gundlupet to en route to Mysore. And what we also get to learn is the Congress workers as well as the police is also trying to remove these posters. So this is a counter campaign from BJP targeting the Congress. But the Congress feels that if they try to stoop to this level, even their workers can counter the BJP in the days to come.
Where exactly is he going to be crossing over and entering Karnataka? What kind of arrangements have been made for that, Sagai? Because Rahul Gandhi is going to be spending many days in Karnataka as well.
Yes, he'll be spending more days than what he has spent in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and it is one of the biggest states in South India. And remember, ahead of 2023 election, this particular Bharat Jodo Yatra is very important for Congress as well as DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah, who are competing between them to become the next Chief Minister of Karnataka. And they would like to try to show of strength whenever they reach their bastion, especially when it comes to Siddaramaiah. Probably he will try to show his show of strength in Mysuru, which is his hometown. And when this Bharat Jodo Yatra will reach Vokkaliga bastion, especially in Mandya and Tumkur region, DK Shivakumar would like to show his show of strength. So it is a very important Bharat Jodo Yatra when it visits Karnataka, and all the leaders are preparing for this, and they are already camping in Mysuru and Gundlupet.
Stay with me, Sagai. We've got some more breaking news coming in, and this is a very typical way in which politics erupts during an election campaign. Now we're seeing the poster war escalating even further. Before the Congress Jodo Yatra enters Karnataka, the BJP has put up posters mocking Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. Remember, this comes just a few days after the PCM poster campaign by the Congress party. Now the BJP hitting back, timing it with Rahul Gandhi's imminent entry into Karnataka. The BJP's poster war basically taunts Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. They demand answers from Rahul and Sonia on the National Herald scam, basically saying, who are you to lecture anyone about corruption when you're out on bail and being investigated in the big National Herald scam case? Is the poster taunt as part of the counter-offensive by the BJP in different parts of Karnataka. Remember, the BJP is the ruling party there in the state and is now preparing to try and pin down Rahul Gandhi, who has just spent 18 days in Karnataka. He'll be spending more days than that in Kerala, I beg your pardon, will be spending more days than that in Karnataka. Tomorrow will be day one in Karnataka, a state that goes to the elections in just 8 months from now. So now the BJP putting up posters mocking Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi there. Temperatures are rising just hours before Rahul Gandhi tomorrow crosses into Karnataka. Things are at fever pitch. Anticipation is skyrocketing because there will be big expectations from Rahul Gandhi. Not only has the poster war exploded now, the Congress has hit out at the Karnataka government and said that this is a bid to sabotage Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. Jairam Ramesh, the media chief and right-hand man of Rahul Gandhi, is speaking to the press. He says the Congress will remain undeterred. Listen in to Jairam Ramesh.
All dirty tricks from the BJP. So far, we had CPM in Kerala, and we were in Tamil Nadu, where the ruling party, we were part of the ruling coalition. We are entering now BJP territory.
Yes.
We are prepared for all sorts of dirty tricks. These dirty tricks can be to run false social media campaigns. These dirty tricks could be to damage the reputation of the Congress party and of Sri Rahul Gandhi. These dirty tricks could be to sabotage. And they may even resort to violence. I don't put anything past the BJP.
And just around the time when the Rahul Bharat Jodo Yatra is about to... One thing the media is sure of, and Mr. Naveen, you can answer this, is that, you know, over the next 20 days, there is going to be a non-stop kind of crossfire between the Congress and the BJP. Both sides are going to be looking for ways and means to, you know, keep the spotlight on their attacks on each other. The Congress says the BJP is going to unleash its entire dirty tricks department on Rahul Gandhi. How do you respond to that, Mr. Naveen?
See, Congress is the one which has come up with the toolkit which has got exposed. Congress has been having these kind of dirty tricks. It has got bags and loads of dirty tricks which is played all over the, you know, previous history, that every time there is going to be some issue or the other, they are going to come up with a toolkit. In fact, the same the pictures coming up in social media with the kind of people who were with Rahul when he did his Padayatra in Kerala are the same people who actually were shouting slogans against the...
This was fake news, Shiv. You shouldn't allow this. You know, a notice issued. Sir, if you do not know facts, if you can't read the paper, you might as well keep quiet, because Mr. Jairam Ramesh and Hebe Eden have filed an official complaint. You are going on air and spreading the same false and fake news. You should be ashamed of yourself. The girl in the first image was somebody different, and the person walking...
That has been clarified.
Different.
That is clarified. That is absolutely.
That's the very reason I said it was on social media.
No, Aishwarya is right. That was false news. Let's move to the next point, because that is not correct information. That is not correct information. Mr. Naveen.
The kind of people, the kind of bandwagons, the kind of people who are dealing with who the Rahul Gandhi's Yatra is going through is the same people who planted multiple kind of toolkits.
No, we don't know that. That's just a broad claim, sir. You know, to be fair, right now there is a political campaign going on. The Bharat Jodo Yatra is the Congress's own campaign, but the Congress says, why is the BJP taking it so seriously? If you think that Rahul Gandhi is a nobody, you know, you call him Pappu, you say that he is, you know, he has no moral authority to mount any campaigns, then why is the BJP, you know, attacking him so much?
That's exactly the first question when we started this debate. That's what I asked. When this Pay CM poster campaign, which was started by whom? Did we put any posters? Did we do anything? Were we against any this thing? We were not somebody who had started anything. This kind of smear campaign, this kind of cheap publicity, this kind of bad, showing our chief minister in bad light was all started.
Aishwarya, I'll give you. Okay, yeah.
We will not keep muted. We are going to come back and show them what they have done in the past, and we are going to give the full proof of it. And that the whole Karnataka, whole country is going to know about it. And this poster campaign, who was the one who did all this? Who went and pasted these posters across Bangalore? And Rahul Gandhi is going to welcome such kind of posters across his route. It's not that we are going to keep quiet and welcoming Rahul Bharat Jodo.
Aishwarya,
do whatever is Jodo thing. We will not sit quiet on the false allegations what Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar have done, and that we are going to bring into the notice of the people.
Okay, Aishwarya, last word. I'm almost out of time. What kind of attacks is the Congress, expecting? I'm sure the Congress party must have war gamed what the next 20 days is going to be like. It's a long time. It's nearly a month. It's already difficult to sustain a yatra, but it's going to be even more difficult now because this is the first BJP-ruled state in which you're in. So, that general sense of protection kind of disappears and you will be vulnerable. How are you war gaming the attacks that are going to come your way?
Shiv, they can tear down the flexes, but they cannot bring down our spirit. The Congress party is ready for any sort of attack. We're very certain they're going to try and create skirmishes. We're very certain people are going to get notices. We're very certain that they're going to, obviously, they talk about dirty tricks department. The word itself was coined by somebody in the BJP to describe what it is that their operation entirely is. And they're going to try and do anything they can to stop this yatra. But I think every single attempt that they try to stop it is going to basically make us walk with far more fervor, far more energy.
We are not going to stop the yatra. Sorry to interrupt. BJP is not going to stop the yatra. But we are going to put it on the face what Congress has been doing in our state in the last 5 years.
What happened to you? You tried to stop our Mekeda to Padyatra. You tried to take on the juggernaut that is
It was against the government order. It was against the government order. When there was COVID going on in the state, there was no need for Congress to take out a Mekeda to Yatra when the entire state was being
Okay. One at a time. We can't hear both of you.
My state leadership, Mr. DK Shivakumar, is willing to take on anybody and anything. He is not scared. Let the BJP try whatever they want, but they have not understood what Kanakpura's Bande is. They will not be able to move him. They will not be able to budge, and we will not relent. We will continue our yatra.
There are quite a few crushes with BJP which will crush all the Bandes, so it is not very...
We'll have to see. Aishwarya and Naveen, we'll have to see. Tomorrow is day one. Day one of a 20-day yatra in Karnataka begins tomorrow. India Today will cover it live. We'll be there at the crossing over point and we will see every single development. Karnataka goes to the elections in April, May next year. It's going to be one of the big elections before the big one in 2024. All eyes will be on it. Thank you very much, Aishwarya and Naveen, for your time here on 5 Live. Coming up next, massive boost to India's Atmanirbhar, self-reliant weapons industry. It's a big story that India Today broke this morning. Very proud to bring it to you on the other side of this break. Arvind Kejriwal is on the campaign trail in Gujarat, one of the big upcoming elections. He said the Congress is finished.
If you look at it on a larger, on a national scale, no, the Congress is not finished, and this is coming from a party which has 0 Lok Sabha MPs right now.
Arvind Kejriwal is positioning himself as a potential challenger, if not in 2022, then in 2027.
One party who can take on the Congress at this point as the leading opposition in this country is Aam Aadmi.
Kejriwal attempted something similar in Uttarakhand, didn't quite work. Small state, didn't quite work. In Goa, yes, he got 6% of the vote, but the Congress was still substantially larger.
14, if he takes 14 Vidhan Sabha seats this election in Gujarat, the Aam Aadmi Party would have done more than what they wanted to do. 14 is their figure.
Aam Aadmi Party is certainly a natural national replacement. This is what Raghav Chadha said, and I totally agree with him, because they've mostly wiped out the Congress in Delhi.
Rahul Gandhi actually given up on Gujarat completely. The fact remains he's spending 18 days in Kerala, only 2 days in Uttar Pradesh, and practically it's a splinter yatra that's going into Gujarat.
But actually the voters resonate with the Delhi model of governance pitch that they've been making in Punjab, similarly in Gujarat as well, because honestly speaking, what is the Delhi model of governance?
I think Kejriwal sold this education health model of his, and these are two areas where Gujarat has traditionally been weak.
Delhi is Congress Mukt. Punjab Congress has been defeated. So Arvind Kejriwal is eating into the opposition votes or the Congress votes. Both these states he is successful. In the third state, Congress is in a disarray.
I would not write off any political party which has got 35 to 40% vote like the Congress completely. The Congress has a well-entrenched vote in Gujarat. Can AAP completely take that vote over in one election? We don't know. They did it in Delhi. But as I said, Delhi is not India.
मंत्रिमंडल ने 1 जुलाई 2022 से देय केंद्र सरकार के कर्मचारियों और पेंशन भोगियों को 4% की दर से महंगाई भत्ते और महंगाई राहत की अतिरिक्त किश्त जारी करने की मंजूरी दी है। सालाना 12,852 करोड़ रुपए का बोझ सरकारी खजाने पर पड़ेगा और 8 महीने के लिए जो अभी हम जुलाई 2022 से फरवरी 2023 तक देखें तो 8,568 करोड़ रुपए का बोझ वित्तीय वर्ष 2022-23 में पड़ेगा। लेकिन इससे लाखों ऐसे सरकारी कर्मचारी और जो पेंशन धारक हैं उनको लाभ मिलेगा।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
Karishma, this clearly adds to the fiscal burden. How do you see the government's expenditure position currently in comparison to what was estimated in the budget early this year?
Well, absolutely right. The Union Cabinet today extended the Anna Yojana scheme by another 3 months. The scheme, which was introduced during the pandemic, was extended by 6 months until September 30 and now will be under implementation until December 2022. This has gone through various extensions, to be honest. The whole motive of the scheme was to help people with the 5 kg food grains per person per month, which benefited more than 80 crore people in India to reduce the hardships that were faced by people. But Finance Ministry expressed displeasure in further extension of this scheme because of the kind of burden it would hold on their fiscal estimates. Already it is because of fertilizer subsidy, excise cuts on fuel, and first extension of Anna Yojana in this financial year. We are looking at an additional expenditure close to rupees 2.5 lakh crore. Anna Yojana costed government almost rupees 80,000 crore for the last 6 months, and in total, if you see, the whole scheme has costed an expenditure of close to rupees 3.5 5 lakh crore. Now the next 3 months, that is the latest extension, the government will have to shell out close to rupees 44,000 crore. While of course clearly this is more than what government had estimated in its budget, but sources tell us that government is confident that they'll be able to balance it with revenues, and they're also confident that despite inflation, despite this additional expenditure that has come, they will not be going ahead with additional borrowing.
दिल चाहता है कभी ना बीते चमकीले दिन हो, दिल चाहता है हम ना रहे कभी यारों के बिन, जब दिन भर हो प्यारी बातें, झूमे शामे गाए रातें, मस्ती में रहे डूबा डूबा हमेशा समा, हमको राहों में यूं ही मिलती रहे खुशियाँ, दिल चाहता है।
Co-presented by only OLX Autos gives the best price for your car.
We've got big breaking news coming in. India has scored a milestone defense export sale that goes to the very heart of India's defense industry. It's a big boost to India's weapons industry. And as we're reporting here, India has bagged a $260 million weapons sales contract to Armenia. Remember, India has always been a large importer of foreign weapons, but now for the first time, India has begun in a sizable, substantive way to export weapons to friendly countries. Armenia is the first export customer of the Indian-made Pinaka rocket artillery system that's already in service with the Indian Army. It's a made-in-India artillery weapon that's been used since the Kargil War. There are many such systems already in service with the Indian Army, and now Armenia becomes the first foreign customer of the Pinaka rocket system. This is an Indian weapons export amidst, remember, the Armenia-Azerbaijan border war that has been raging since the middle of last year. The Pinaka multi-barrel rocket system can fire 12 rockets in 44 seconds out to ranges of up to 70 to 90 kilometers. So a huge, huge win here for India's indigenous weapons industry.
This is the Pinaka, a fully Indian multi-rocket launcher system, a fearsome weapon that's deployed in large numbers with the Indian Army and with several more regiments on order. But 2 decades after this incredible made-in-India weapon entered service with the Indian Army, a massive milestone has just been achieved. Armenia, a country at war with its neighbor Azerbaijan, has just signed up to become the first international customer of this fully Indian weapon. The sale is part of a $260 million package deal for the country that's been embroiled in conflict since last year. The Indian Pinaka system, capable of firing furious barrages of 120mm rockets out to distances of up to 75 kilometers with devastating accuracy, will become part of Armenia's strike forces against a more capable and well-armed adversary. Each Pinaka regiment consists of 3 batteries of 6 Pinaka launchers, each which is capable of launching 12 rockets within a range of at least 40 kilometers in a space of 44 seconds. By signing up for the tried and battle-proven Pinaka, Armenia signals faith in an Indian weapon and represents a huge morale boost to Indian weapons industry. Armenia will also be eligible for the many improvements and upgrades being done on the system to make the Pinaka hit further, harder and with smarter accuracy. The Pinaka takes its name from the celestial bow wielded by Lord Shiva to destroy 3 cities of the Asuras. Armenia will be hoping the system adds some much needed firepower to its destructive conflict with neighbor Azerbaijan. For India, however, the export sale is a massive milestone, a show of trust and faith, and a much needed psychological boost to Atmanirbhar Bharat that's finally on the world stage. Bureau Report, India Today.
The Armenia-Azerbaijan war has been raging since May last year. It has been one of the most hard-fought wars with extensive use of drones by Azerbaijan to destroy many of Armenia's ground forces. That is something that has raised a lot of concerns because if India is supplying such equipment to Armenia, hopefully that country has been able to get its air defenses up to speed against those drones being used by Azerbaijan. Otherwise, equipment will be just sitting ducks even in Armenia's hands. But here's a look back at the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. It's one of the big modern conflicts of our times and it's still raging with advanced weaponry. Take a look.
Drone videos like this one showing an Azerbaijan unmanned combat aerial vehicle destroying an Armenian tank went viral world over in 2020. Using the Turkish Bayraktar drones, Azerbaijan successfully decimated the Armenian armored columns and made significant gains in Nagorno-Karabakh. The Russian-brokered truce was virtually blown to bits in the second week of September when artillery guns from Azerbaijan and Armenia opened up once again on September 13, resulting in over 170 fatalities and a fresh spike in tensions. Both Azerbaijan and Armenia have accused each other of violating the ceasefire.
2 days ago, we listened to the statement delivered here by the Prime Minister of Armenia. Regretfully, this was yet another evidence demonstrating that the Armenian side seems focused on continuing the confrontation instead of normalization. In Azerbaijan, we believe that our region has seen enough confrontation, destruction and suffering. It is high time for both our nations to engage fully and wholeheartedly in the post-conflict normalization so we can finally turn over the tragic page of our history and start building a better future for our children.
Azerbaijan initiated a major military offensive targeting the eastern and southeastern regions of Armenia with the use of a wide range of weaponry, including artillery and combat UAVs. The offensive took lives of 105 people, left dozens wounded, dozens missing, and inflicted various forms of material damage, including upon the civilian settlements and infrastructure. The scale of destruction and the intensity of shelling is so high that at the moment we have only the initial figures.
Azerbaijan and Armenia, both former Soviet bloc countries, are neighbors and have been at war for the control of the disputed territory of Nagorno and Karabakh. In 2020 conflict, Azerbaijan, backed by Turkey, was able to make major territorial gains in the disputed territory. Russia backed Armenia but remains engaged in Ukraine conflict, enabling Azerbaijan to test the limits of the truce. On Sunday, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken hosted the foreign ministers of Armenia and Azerbaijan after the truce on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. This was the first meeting after the killings of over 170 soldiers. The two sides have agreed to maintain peace. Last week, US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also visited Armenia and called the attacks by Azerbaijan deadly and illegal.
Our meeting again had a particular importance to us because of the focus on security following the illegal and deadly attacks on us by the Azerbaijan on the Armenian territory. We strongly condemn those attacks, we in our delegation and on behalf of Congress, which threatens prospects for much-needed peace agreement.
Armenia is hunting both for disruptive technology, including unmanned combat aerial vehicles, and also for heavy artillery and longer-range weapon systems to be able to deter Azerbaijan amidst apprehensions that the border skirmishes could take a turn for the worse. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, Armenia might seem like an obscure country, but it is a country whose nationals and expats and people of origin from that country are some of the world's biggest celebrities. For instance, the Kardashians, Kim Kardashian and her sisters, are among Armenian American celebrities, including Cher, the metal band System of a Down. They're all Armenians, and they've been using their social media clout to raise awareness about this ongoing conflict in the region. So Armenia, the country to which India is exporting these weapons, is a country that all of these celebrities, including the Kardashians, are from. Well, since the fighting began, Armenian Americans, including the Kardashian sisters, have been spreading the word about the war in the country they originate from. The comments under the Kardashians' Instagram posts are peppered with Armenian flag emojis and cries to pray for that country. The Kardashians have long been vocal advocates for the Armenian cause as well. Kim Kardashian, who's of Armenian descent and traveled to the Armenian capital of Yerevan last year with her ex-husband Kanye West, added the hashtag Pray for Peace in an Instagram post that quickly generated more than 500,000 likes. In recent days, the Kardashians and Cher, the famous singer, have been retweeting posts calling on celebrities to use their platforms to spread awareness of the conflict as well as the international community to condemn the violence in their country of origin. The Azerbaijani ambassador to the United States blasted Kim Kardashian, as a matter of fact, saying that matters of war and peace are a little too serious for a reality TV star. Well, enough about Armenia now. Let me tell you a little bit more about how India's homegrown weapons industry has been scoring big win after big win. I told you just now about the big export sale to Armenia. Now the Indian Army has significantly bolstered its own firepower along the frontier with China by deciding to order a repeat order of a made-in-India weapon system that has been proving itself illustriously on the line of actual control. Take a look at this.
One of India's newest big guns, seen here in the tense eastern Ladakh standoff zone. For over a year or so, these tracked 155mm artillery guns have proven their mettle. This is the K9 Vajra T, built by Indian private sector giant Larsen & Toubro, far away in Hazira, Gujarat. But so impressed is the Indian Army with these guns and their ability to adapt from hot desert conditions to the icy altitudes of Ladakh that the Indian Army is all set to repeat its order for 100 more of these. The Larsen & Toubro factory that builds these monster weapons does so under license from a Korean company. But the K9 Vajra is now increasingly indigenous with very little outside help. Prime Minister Modi, who hails from Gujarat, put a personal stamp on the K9 when he rode in one during a ceremony. The factory has delivered the first order of 100 guns to the Indian Army, and the production line is still warm and buzzing. Therefore, the second order for 100 more guns will be delivered at a much faster rate. The Army's experience with the gun has been valuable to the makers. Deploying it beyond its intended terrain from the deserts of Rajasthan to the freezing heights of Ladakh, these lessons will go into the next batch of K9s manufactured, including additional winter proofing and modifications to make them even more effective at high altitudes. The K9 has already proven its mettle in India's most hostile battlefield, providing highly mobile artillery support to any possible outbreak of conflict on the restive line of actual control with China. A repeat order for Made in India equipment means industry gets to think bigger, boosts investment in indigenous weaponry, and moves the country much closer to that elusive ideal of self-reliance in defense. Bureau Report, India Today.
And I'm leaving you with these pictures on 5 Live of a bear entering a chocolate factory in Kunur in Tamil Nadu at night. Tasting and taking the rounds of that factory, sampling all the chocolatey delights. This has been doing the rounds on the internet, going viral obviously. At night in the surrounding areas of Kunur, this is in the Nilgiri district, the beautiful hilly district of Tamil Nadu. This bear entered the Highfield chocolate factory and kept it as if it were taken for sale. The video footage of the bear roaming around inside the factory and eating chocolate, recorded on CCTV camera and very, very quickly going viral. Well, I hope the bear had a good time.
The government has extended its flagship Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana by another 3 months until the end of the year. The extension coincides with Gujarat Assembly elections and is expected to cost the central government an extra 44,000 crore rupees and would further dip into food stocks.
For 800 million poor spread across India, this festive season promises some relief. In a big move, the central government has extended the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana for a 7th time till 31st of December. The scheme, launched in March 2020 to help the poor tide over the COVID lockdowns, provides 5 kg of food grains per person every month, free to beneficiaries over and above the normal quota provided under the National Food Security Act at a highly subsidized rate of Rs 2 to 3 per kg. The scheme, originally intended for just 3 months, has already been extended 6 times. Around 3.45 lakh crore rupees has so far been spent on feeding the poor. The fresh 7th extension is expected to cost the exchequer another 44,762 crore rupees.
प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण अन्न योजना को अगले 3 महीने के लिए मंजूरी दी है, उसके विस्तार के लिए मंजूरी दी है। 80 करोड़ से ज़्यादा लोगों को इसका लाभ मिलता है।
Concerns have also been raised over the depleting levels of food stocks in the country and how the extension of the Anna Yojana will further strain the situation. The central procurement of wheat this year plunged to just 18.7 million tons from 43.3 million tons last year. The current wheat stocks in the country are at a 14-year low of 25 million tons. Rice stocks are also at a low of 24.6 million tons. Against this monthly offtake of this scheme is around 700,000 tons of wheat and 3.3 million tons of rice. This does not include the offtake under the older ration scheme, under which 20 lakh tons of wheat are distributed every month. There is also concern that rice procurement, which begins next month, may fall short of targets, affecting the overall food security of India.
जाओ छोड़कर कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं, अभी ना जाओ छोड़कर कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं, अभी अभी तो आए हो, बहार बन के छाई हो, हवा जरा महक तो ले, नजर जरा बहक तो ले, ये शाम ढल तो ले जरा।
Co-presented by only OLX Autos gives the best price for you.
Tell us about the car. Do you think this is the right time to bring a Tata Tiago EV? You have already sold 425,000 vehicles in the ICE segment. Now this EV is here. Do you think that strategic timing has matched your expectations?
See, for quite some time we have been saying that we have the aspiration of bringing 10 products in the next 5 years. This is the fourth nameplate. We had a Nexon EV, we had a Tigor EV, we had a fleet segment product which was Express T, and we have this fourth product which is coming. We had also said that out of these 10 products will be a different affordability point with more range options and more importantly different body styles, because consumers in India have very nuanced tastes and very different tastes, and their preferences for body style is quite different. So we wanted to have all these representative body style already covered. So we had first come with an Nexon EV which was an SUV, then we came with a sedan, and now we have launched a hatch. This hatch is the most accessible vehicle, at the same time ensuring that the premium quotient of electric vehicle and the aspiration that is now around electric vehicle is done full justice. That's why we have come with very premium features which are not seen in hatches, like telematics and automatic climate control. Many features have been given. So I think this is going to really disrupt the market, because this matches the need of the electric vehicle customers. At the same time, it comes at a price which is pretty close to what you would get in this segment in an ICE world also for an automatic car. So I think this is going to really take the benefit of, as you rightly said, the ICE which is already successful, the Tiago ICE, because of its stylish design, best-in-class safety, very agile driving experience. It will build on that. It will take it to the next level. I think it will add to the volumes of Tiago, which is already strong.
Co-presented by PolicyBazaar.com. Co-powered by Buy, Sell, Rent on 99acres.com. Co-powered by Galaxy Z Fold 4. In association with LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
India sets an example to the world. Supreme Court's landmark judgment on abortion. All women entitled to legal abortion. First legal recognition of marital rape. Rape includes marital rape for abortion. Supreme Court upholds women's right to choice. That's our top focus at 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Akshita Nantagopal. Today, it's a red letter day because the Supreme Court made two very, very important mentions while passing their order with regards to the termination of a pregnancy case. One, that marital rape also is rape, at least in the case of abortions. And second, there can be no distinction between married and unmarried women. We're going to be talking about the takeaways from the Supreme Court verdict and how, when it comes to abortion cases, the rights of women, the right of choice, India is far, far more progressive than the West. That coming your way in just a few moments. As always, let's begin with the headlines. Ashok Gehlot pulls out of Congress President race, apologizes to Sonia over rebellion by his loyalist MLAs, says Congress chief to decide if he remains the Rajasthan chief minister.
तो मैंने तय किया है अब मैं इस माहौल के अंदर चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा, ये मेरा फैसला है। ये फैसला मैं नहीं करूंगा, ये फैसला सोनिया गांधी जी करेगी, कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष करेगी।
A day before Congress Bharat Jodo Yatra enters Karnataka, Rahul Gandhi posters and hoardings torn in Chamarajnagar. Chief Minister Bommai says Gandhi sign is doing Bharat Todo. Big India Today impact. Nitish Kumar takes note of Bihar IAS officer who asked, "Ab kya condom mangoge?" to girl students seeking affordable sanitary pads. Bihar Chief Minister assures action on the IAS officer.
तत्काल एक एक चीज को देख रहे हैं, अगर जरा भी होगा एक्शन लिया जाएगा, चिंता मत करिए।
Shocking Garba jihad from Ahmedabad. Bajrang Dal members thrash Muslim youth for attending a Garba event. Alleges that he was there to lure Hindu women. Two similar blasts in 8 hours inside public buses in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur. 2 injured in the first blast. Cops probe explosions. And big setback to Team India's World Cup squad. Jasprit Bumrah sustains back injury, advised a 6-month break from cricket. The Supreme Court today delivered a historic judgment on abortion rights and on marital rape, challenging some long-held stereotypes in the process, societal stereotypes at that. The top court ruled that all women, irrespective of married or unmarried, are entitled to seek a legal and safe abortion if their pregnancy is in the term of 20 to 24 weeks, upholding essentially one basic right, a woman's right to choice.
Protest for a basic right in America, the right to choose, which was taken away from women with a draconian judgment by the American Supreme Court, which banned abortions.
My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
For all those who hail America as a progressive country, juxtapose these protests and the Roe versus Wade judgment to what happened in the Supreme Court of India today. Every woman in India has the right to choose. That was the message from the Supreme Court. In a landmark verdict, the top court upheld abortion rights for unmarried women. For long, women in the country, single, unmarried women or victims of marital rape, have struggled with societal stigma and a lack of legislation to back them. But the Supreme Court has now delivered a historic verdict. A 3-judge Supreme Court bench comprising of Justices D.Y. Chandrachud, A.S. Bopanna and J.B. Pardiwala ruled that we cannot perpetuate stereotypes that only married women indulge in intercourse, and hence there is no reason to restrict the provision only to married women. In its judgment, the bench also said that the distinction between married and unmarried women cannot be sustained, and women, irrespective of their marital status, must have autonomy to have free exercise of these rights.
The
The entire issue of abortion law had come before the Supreme Court because the text of the MTP Act as it stands did not even contemplate the idea of an unmarried woman in a consensual relationship. The rules made under the MTP Act only provided for late-term abortions for married women who did not want to continue the pregnancy or for unmarried women who had been a victim of sexual assault, which is why the Apex Court had to, in its judgment, clearly say that the law has to keep up with the changing social realities and allow even unmarried women the right to exercise their free choice and bodily autonomy.
Today is the special day because today is International Safe Abortion Day, and the passing of this judgment on this day in itself is a remarkable and historical in itself, not only for India but for the rest of the world also. Now the discrimination that has been eliminated by the Honorable Supreme Court today, the violation which was prevailing between married and unmarried of Article 14, Article 21, it is eliminated now completely.
That's not the only historic takeaway from this verdict. While talking about abortions arising out of rapes and non-consensual relationships, the court has also said rape will include marital rape for the purpose of abortion. The Supreme Court has highlighted again that there is no distinction between married and unmarried women in case of rape as well, and so for the purposes of abortion, rape will include marital rape.
I think it's a landmark judgment, and especially when this judgment has come when the Supreme Court has tried to reverse the judgment of a lower court which had actually denied an unmarried woman to abort her pregnancy. So I think it's an important judgment, it's a landmark judgment, and I totally welcome it.
It is a landmark judgment given the fact that the Supreme Court has put the unmarried women and the married women on a platform and have given them the equal choice to abort their fetus, irrespective of the fact whether they are married or unmarried.
The Supreme Court's message is clear that all women in India are entitled to safe and legal abortion, a quantum leap for the fundamental right to choose for women. With Anisha Mathur in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
So why is this ruling from the Supreme Court so significant and so historic? Let's tell you about what changes it's brought about in the country, what the abortion legislation stated previously. We're talking about the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, the MTP Act, which has been debated about a lot. So the abortion laws previously, before the Supreme Court ruling, stood as this. It said very clearly that with regards to married women, yes, abortions can happen. But the legislation made a distinction between unmarried and married women. So before the Supreme Court's intervention, medical termination of pregnancy was in fact allowed for married women. So that was something that was okay. Now, after also it's still very much allowed. The Supreme Court has of course said that there can be no distinction. From 20 to 24 weeks, the fetus can be aborted. But here's the biggest point. Before, this particular act said no termination of pregnancy for unmarried women. Now it's allowed for unmarried women as well. And the Supreme Court very importantly has said that we need to get out of that notion, that stereotype that unmarried women don't indulge in intercourse. Now beyond that, another big point is that the Supreme Court has said all women, irrespective of whether they're married or unmarried, if they're in a consensual relationship, are entitled to a safe, legal abortion. That distinction that was made on character, on whether they're married or unmarried, has been taken away, has been gotten rid of by the Supreme Court. Now, to understand this legally and what this means going forward also, I have Aishwarya Bhati, Additional Solicitor General of India, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. Aishwarya Bhati, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us. Good evening. To you, why is this verdict that came in from the Supreme Court today so very significant?
Well, it is a significant verdict for any woman in India. But it is especially significant because my office was asked to assist. The Honorable Court had asked us to assist, and we were assisting the court in laying down this judgment, coming to these conclusions. But I do have to say, I was listening to what you were saying. The distinction was not there in the MTP Act between married and unmarried women earlier. In fact, the 2021 amendment in the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act that was brought in, that had substantially liberalized the provisions that were existing. The distinction was there in the rules under the Medical Termination of Pregnancy rules, which is Rule 3B, which has been held to be unconstitutional by the court. There, the distinction was there. So, medical termination of pregnancy was available under a statutory right, has been always available to Indian women since 1971. So we are a progressive country in that sense. The right has been available to all Indian women, irrespective of their marital status. What was happening was between the period of 20 to 24 weeks, only women who were in extremely vulnerable categories, they were allowed to terminate their medical pregnancy. Now, Rule 3E of the MTP rules prescribed who those 6 categories of women would be. And one also, the other categories are, victims of rape, victims of human tragedies, minors, women who had mental disabilities in any form, etc. And there was one category in that which prescribed that if women had a change of marital status, and in the parenthesis, in the paragraphs, it was written when a woman becomes a divorcee or a widow. So it was only that portion that the court was interpreting in the rules. But the court has struck it down. We also assisted the court to read it down in this. We also brought out the aspects of purposive legislation, because a change of marital status cannot mean only a woman who undergoes a divorce or who becomes a widow. Even to live in relationships in India have the protection of the statute, have the sanction of the statute. So to leave unmarried women out of this extremely vulnerable categories, so as to enable them medical termination of pregnancy between 20 to 24 weeks was what has been considered. And the findings and the ratio of the judgment is extremely reformative. Like you rightly pointed out, I think the US Supreme Court needs to look at our Supreme Court today and realize what they are doing with their women, because right to a reproductive choice, the Supreme Court has categorically held again. It goes to the woman's dignity. It goes to the very basic personal autonomy right of a woman. And it is available to every woman who may need access to safe medical termination of pregnancy.
You mentioned the point also about the United States. And I think, Aishwarya Bhati, when you look at the context of what happened in the Supreme Court today, immediately what flashed through our minds were the protests, right, that played out in the United States, where so many women had to come out and seek exactly this, the basic right of choice. That's why, do you think, with what's happened in the United States, the protests, the Supreme Court's ruling there on abortion and making it illegal, do you think that our judiciary truly has shown the way for the world and for the West today?
I, as a woman, I am today very proud of my Supreme Court. And I am proud today because I know millions and billions of women who are in India, who are Indian citizens, or who choose to make India their home. They live in India. They are very proud of the fact that Indian Supreme Court sees their reproductive right in a manner which is akin to their very personal right of autonomy, their very personal right of choice, irrespective of in what manner the court has interpreted this in a manner which leaves no doubt really available for anyone. But I must also point out that the statute itself was in India is a very reformative and a very progressive statute. And now I think out of these issues, the Supreme Court has paved the way for the constitutional courts across the country to see law cannot be a dead letter word that you try to see what the constitution makers were looking at when they were making the constitution. Our constitution is only about 70 years old, but the US constitution is about 230 years old. And if the constitutional courts of today were to try and see what was the interpretation the constitution makers would have applied, then you are making...
I also want to bring up one point, Aishwarya Bhati, because I'm unfortunately running out of time. The issue of marital rape. This has been debated and discussed a lot. Do you think we're one step closer to recognizing marital rape legally?
I am not going to comment on that, but today the Supreme Court has said a lot about that, but it is all in context of the medical termination of pregnancy. This issue remains to be adjudicated by the Constitutional Court. But so far as right of safe abortion is concerned, every woman has that right, irrespective of her status, irrespective of her status in the matrimony, whether the matrimony is abusive, not, or wherever it is her right that matters.
Yes. Very true. Aishwarya Bhati, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us here on India Today. So you had Aishwarya Bhati there, Senior Advocate to the Supreme Court, the Additional Solicitor General, explaining what this ruling means going forward, why this is such a historic moment. We've been discussing the comparison of India versus the West, particularly because for the last few months, there's been a lot of talk about what's been playing out in the United States. And focusing on that, let's tell you about the abortion laws in India versus the United States. How does it really look right now with regards to the laws, and considering what the Supreme Court has said today, that all women are entitled, have to have access to safe and legal abortions. So in India, abortions now are allowed up to 4 weeks into the pregnancy. In the United States, there's a ban completely on abortion in half of the states of the US. This isn't complete blanket ban, but most of the states really, you see this kind of a ban on abortion. In India, women are entitled to a safe and legal abortion. Those are exactly the terms used by the Supreme Court today, saying you can't make a distinction. All women in India must be entitled to a safe abortion. In the United States, the legality of the abortion varies from state to state. And amid that also, you have a whole bunch of terms and conditions. You have a whole bunch of clauses. Abortion ban is roughly in half the states in the United States. Now, in India also, it's very clear that there's no distinction between unmarried and married. So abortion, regardless of marital status, is something that a woman has access to, has the right to, based on what the Supreme Court has said today. In the United States, there are laws to restrict late-term abortions as well. So there are terms within these states, like I said, where abortion is allowed, where after a certain point, after certain weeks into the pregnancy, they will not allow abortions. So this is the stark difference that you see between India and the United States. So for everyone who tries to preach about how progressive the West is versus India, this here is a clear case and example about how we believe women have the right to choice, whereas the United States has failed to uphold even that. I'm slipping into a short break here on 6 p.m. Prime. Coming up on the other side, unfortunately, even as we talk about this great moment that came in from the Supreme Court today, here's a story that will shock you about a Bihar IAS officer who mocked a girl student when she asked them to provide sanitary napkins at affordable prices.
I can't count the number of times my teachers have said, okay, we're letting you go this time, but only because we're big fans of your father, because I was quite naughty in school. Whatever little I have achieved today is not because of wanting to step out of his shadow. I think I'm more than delighted to be, addressed as his daughter and very, very proud of his achievements. We call him Buddha at home.
You call him Buddha at home?
At home, and within our friends and family circle, he's known as Buddha, because even without
they
realizing,
actually want to
always
call me Buddha, but
Well, India's most affordable electric vehicle car has officially been launched by Tata Motors, and I'm standing with that vehicle. Tata Tiago EV has been launched officially. Let me just quickly give you a sneak peek inside the vehicle. The vehicle comes with a whole lot of features that you would probably find in an expensive electric vehicle, but yes, Tata Motors has kept in mind about the affordability factor for a common man. Launched at 8.49 lakhs, the vehicle, the price is reserved for about 10,000 first customers, about 4.25 lakh vehicles already sold. Let me just give you a quick look about how the vehicle looks at behind. This Tiago EV badging has been very aggressively put out to ensure the vehicle looks very attractive. About 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, 315 kilometer range in the higher battery of 24 kWh, and the 19 kVh would offer a range of about 250 kilometers. And about 8-year, 1,60,000 kilometer warranty given on the battery and the motor, and you would eventually save up about 90 to 95% of the cost if you would particularly drive this vehicle. So clearly, an in-depth review will be given later on when we get to drive this car, but the first looks of it, the Tata Tiago EV would definitely be a hot seller for Tata Motors.
Will metaverse replace our reality? Can it? We don't know that yet, but in its present form, it kind of is a duplicate of the physical world. But the only way to access it is via the internet. The idea of metaverse has its roots in many sci-fi narratives from the 90s. It exists either as immersive online games, workrooms, virtual concerts, or much more. So, what can you do in the metaverse? Apparently a lot. From watching your favorite pop star to working as personalized avatars in a virtual workspace, metaverse can make that happen. It will eventually be possible to do exactly what we do in reality thanks to a virtual reality freed from physical constraints. As interactions increase, it will be possible to meet people, make purchases, and pay in cryptocurrency or go sightseeing while staying at home. Well, virtual tourism seems like a nice idea in the comfort of your room. What tools would you need for metaverse? You'd need virtual reality headsets and a good internet connection for starters. Virtual reality headsets will allow us to immerse ourselves in 3D worlds in the form of avatars animated by our movements. But it will require an enormous amount of computing power to allow millions of people to act simultaneously in that virtual space. Even devices that recreate taste, smell, and touch could be invented. What do you think? Are you ready for the metaverse?
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
Welcome back. Here's a story that came in from Bihar that shocked all of us as a nation. I did tell you in the beginning of this broadcast about how the Supreme Court has upheld women's rights. But then there are these kind of stories also that come in that kind of dampen all of our hopes. A senior official in Bihar's Women Development Department has sparked a controversy. She was seen snapping back, arguing at a schoolgirl. Why? Because this girl smartly stood up and asked a very reasonable demand. She said, we must be provided with sanitary napkins at a cost of about 20 to 30 rupees. She was saying, provided to us at a reasonable price. This officer is seen snapping and responding to her saying, today you're asking for sanitary pads. Tomorrow you'll ask us for condoms. We'll play out that entire sequence for you.
और अंत में जब परिवार नियोजन की बात आएगी तो निरोध भी मुफ्त में ही देना पड़ेगा, है ना?
It began as a genuine demand by girl students of Bihar for affordable sanitary napkins.
हर कुछ के लिए तो सरकार देती ही है, तो क्या मतलब 20 और 30 रुपया का ये बिस्कुट नहीं दे सकते हैं?
In reply, IAS officer Harjot Kaur, heading Bihar's Women and Child Development Department, came out with a shocker.
और अंत में जब परिवार नियोजन की बात आएगी तो निरोध भी मुफ्त में ही देना पड़ेगा, है ना?
Not just mocking the demand of sanitary pads for poor, but wondering if the girl students will demand free condoms next.
इस मांग का कोई अंत है? 20 और 30 रुपए का विस्पर भी दे सकते हैं, कल को जीन पैंट भी दे सकते हैं, परसों को सुंदर जूते क्यों नहीं दे सकते हैं, नर्सों को क्यों नहीं कर सकते? और अंत में जब परिवार नियोजन की बात आएगी तो निरोध भी मुफ्त में ही देना पड़ेगा, है ना? लेकिन जैसा मैंने कहा,
The heartless taunt, that too from a top woman IAS officer, sparked massive outrage.
बिल्कुल सरासर गलत है, ये गलत वे में बोली हैं वो कि आज सैनिटरी पैड मांगने, कल को वो मांगेंगी तो ये गलत है. सैनिटरी पैड तो हम लोग का जरूरत है.
After India Today reportage, the National Women's Commission asked Harjot Kaur to explain her distasteful remark.
Why is it that free sanitary napkins cannot be provided? And why is it that this lady has answered in such a brutally obnoxious manner? I think she needs to be made answerable and I think she needs to be removed from her post.
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar promised probe.
उन लोगों के लिए तो हम मदद कर ही रहे हैं, महिलाओं के लिए, और मालूम नहीं है, हम लोग भी कई बार जाते रहे, देखते रहे, इसलिए हमको भी अभी यहाँ आ रहे थे, उसी समय मिला, तो हमने तत्काल एक एक चीज को देख रहे हैं, अगर जरा भी होगा एक्शन लिया जाएगा, चिंता मत करिए.
While ally Congress and the opposition BJP tore into the woman IAS officer.
मुझे लगता है कि आईएएस ने बहुत ही गैर जिम्मेदाराना और एक शर्मनाक तरीके का और एक हास्यास्पद जवाब दिया है जो नहीं होना चाहिए था। मुझे लगता है उनको स्क्रीन में सामने आके, वो भी एक महिला है, उनकी भी बच्ची होगी, उनको कहना चाहिए कि मुझसे गलती हो गई।
जब सरकार चुनाव में वोट मांगने आती है, कमिटमेंट भी करती है कि हम साइकिल देंगे, पोशाक देंगे, तो सैनिटरी भी दो, तो हम चीजें फैसिलिटेट करें। हम उसको अलर्गर बयान देकर बच्चों को कंफ्यूज नहीं करना चाहिए।
जब तुमको मैं वही उंगली वापस जुड़ पा रही हूँ तो बुरा क्यों लग रहा है?
The woman officer called the charges fabricated and a bid to malign her.
और हम लोग जब सुनते हैं तो सुधार करने के पूरे प्रयास भी करते हैं।
Sanitary pads are still out of reach for a large chunk of rural women who end up using unhygienic and unsafe cloth. With Sujit Jha in Patna, Bureau Report, India Today.
तो निरोध भी मुफ्त नहीं देना पड़ेगा।
And we've spoken to the student who had confronted the Bihar IAS officer who had asked her to ensure sanitary napkins are provided at an affordable price. The student, when we spoke to her, had a very clear message saying that we were there to put forward our demand, not to create any sort of scene, not to engage in any sort of argument. And she makes a very, very reasonable point. Says it's difficult for people who are living in slums to manage basic facilities. How can they actually afford sanitary napkins? And it's because of that that she says she actually raised this issue with the IAS officer. Listen in to exactly what she told us.
नहीं, हम ऐसा नहीं सोचे थे कि मैडम इस तरह की जवाब देंगी, कभी नहीं सोचे थे। हम लोग तो वहाँ पे झगड़ा करने नहीं गए थे, अपना बात को रखने गए थे और मैडम से मांगने भी नहीं गए थे कि मैडम आप दीजिए, क्योंकि मान लीजिए हम 20 या 30 रुपया कोई बड़ा बात नहीं है, वो तो खुद के लिए इंसान खरीद ही लेगा। लेकिन और जो लोग गरीब लोग हैं जिनका 50,000 सालाना है, जो साल में 50,000 कमाते हैं, वो भी रोज का कोई का 300 होता है, कोई का 200। ये स्लम बस्ती हैं, यहाँ के लोग ठेला ज्यादातर या तो रिक्शा चलाते हैं, यहाँ कोई जॉब नहीं करता है सरकारी जॉब। तो अगर वो लोग को तो ऐसा स्थिति रहता है कि वो लोग शायद कभी तबीयत खराब होता है तो दवाई के लिए भी पैसा नहीं रहता है, तो वो सैनिटरी पैड वो कहाँ से खरीद पाएंगे 30-40 रुपए का।
लेकिन सरकार जो है वो कहती है क्या कि हम तो बच्चों को सब देते हैं, छात्राओं को सैनिटरी पैड देते हैं, बहुत सारी सुविधाएं देते हैं। तुम लोग को मिला कभी? नहीं,
हम लोग को तो नहीं मिला है। जो विस्पर का बात है वो तो हम लोग को सिर्फ 8 क्लास में एक बार मिला था, उसके बाद से तो नहीं मिला है। हम लोग खुद ही खरीदते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग खुद के लिए नहीं बोले थे, और जो लोग हैं वो लोग बोले थे जो पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं।
So everyone, activists, organizations, citizens on social media, everyone has slammed this IAS officer Harjot Kaur for her "ab kya condom mangoge" comment and has raised the gender-based pricing discrimination in the name of pink tax. I'm not sure if you've heard this term before, but essentially pink tax is how there's a lot more money that goes into buying women's hygiene products and several other products, extracting money out of women's purses without even their knowledge. Being a woman in India comes at a big cost.
30 रुपया का ये बिस्कुट ही दे सकते हैं।
अच्छा, ये जो तालियां भी बजा रहे हैं, इस मांग का कोई अंत है?
The viral video of a Bihar IAS officer snarkily snubbing a girl who demanded access to sanitary pads has triggered massive outrage.
नियोजन की बात आएगी तो निरोध भी मुफ्त में ही देना पड़ेगा, है ना?
Activists, organizations and citizens have slammed Harjot Kaur for her "ab kya condom mangoge" comment.
ये जो तालियां भी बजा रहे हैं, इस मांग का कोई अंत है? 20 और 30 रुपए का विस्पर भी दे सकते हैं, कल को जीन पैंट भी दे सकते हैं, परसों को सुंदर जूते क्यों नहीं दे सकते हैं, नर्सों को वो नहीं कर सकते, और अंत में जब परिवार नियोजन की बात आएगी तो निरोध भी मुफ्त में ही देना पड़ेगा, है ना?
The video has also triggered a huge debate over women's access to basic amenities. Being a woman in India comes at a big cost, literally. Do you know that women pay more for most products as compared to men? Gender-based pricing discrimination in the name of pink tax has been extracting more money out of women's purses without even their knowledge. It's an intrinsic cost that women incur when goods are exclusively promoted for them. For everyday products like perfumes, shower gels, face creams and razors, women have always been paying more as compared to products manufactured for men. 2018 saw protests over 12% GST on sanitary napkins, which eventually made the government repeal the tax. Women menstrual hygiene products are still labelled as a luxury item. The raw materials for them still are taxed higher. Women in the workforce anyway earn less than their male counterparts. Add to that this pink tax, and you would know why asking for a basic thing like a sanitary napkin is such a big deal. With Riya Modi, Bureau Report, India Today.
So that report, a real eye-opener really on what the situation is for women and why that particular student in Bihar raised the issue with the IAS officer, since the IAS officer has expressed regret and apologized for the kind of comments she made and indulging in a petty argument with a student. That incident, of course, has put the focus firmly also on how issues like pink tax isn't really addressed much as a society. And we need to talk about this more to ensure there's change, particularly in rural areas where it's almost impossible for women to afford ensuring that they can actually pay for hygiene products, for basic hygiene products. The officer has now expressed regret, and this after Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar also said he's taking note.
अच्छा मैं बोलती
जो आएगा वो नहीं।
आप हिंदी में शुरू करो, दोनों चैनल काट रहे हैं।
हेलो सर को ऊपर
भाई
मुझे जाना पड़ेगा ना चक्कर में। छोड़ दे का मंडल को मैं
We're standing by right now for Rajdeep Sardesai to join us. He's going to be getting us an exclusive conversation with Digvijaya Singh, who could in fact be the next Congress president. He's confirmed that
कांग्रेस के नेता मध्य प्रदेश के 2 बार मुख्यमंत्री रहे दिग्विजय सिंह जो कल अपना पर्चा भरने जा रहे हैं कांग्रेस अध्यक्षता के लिए। आप स्माइल कर रहे हैं, क्यों? ये स्माइल के पीछे क्या है? ये राज क्या है दिग्विजय सिंह जी? क्या होने वाला है?
देखिए अभी इस पर भी ऐतराज होने लगा आपको।
नहीं ऐतराज नहीं, मैं पूछ रहा हूँ
ये पूछा जा रहा है कि दिग्विजय सिंह जिन्होंने कहा था राजदीप कि अगर मैं कैंडिडेट से संतुष्ट नहीं हूँ तो मैं नामांकन दाखिल करूंगा, तो आप जो इस मुस्कुरा रहे हैं क्या राज छुपा रहे हैं? क्या एक और कैंडिडेट आने वाला है, वाइल्ड कार्ड एंट्री होने वाली है?
अब मुझे वाकई में नहीं मालूम। अब ये तो कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट ने इसको खुला छोड़ दिया है और हर व्यक्ति को अधिकार है, जो भी पीसीसी डेलीगेट है वो अपना फॉर्म भरे।
मैं इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ क्योंकि 2 हफ्ते पहले या 1 महीने पहले मौसमी और मैं इसी गार्डन में आपके साथ थे और आप हंसने लगे जब हमने कहा कि क्या आप अध्यक्ष के लिए नॉमिनेशन भरेंगे। क्या बदला कि सडनली दिग्विजय सिंह ने तय किया कि मैं अध्यक्ष बनना चाहता हूँ?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। मैं हमेशा से इस बात को कहता रहा हूँ, आप 30 तारीख का इंतजार करिए। तो आज 29 है ना।
नहीं, क्या ये आपने पहले से मन बना लिया था या जो अशोक गहलोत के साथ हुआ उसके बाद दिग्विजय सिंह ने तय किया कि अब मैं इस लड़ाई में कूद जाऊंगा? सच्चाई बताइए।
देखिए बात यह है कि अभी तक ऐसा ही महसूस किया जा रहा था कि शायद अशोक गहलोत जी हमारे ऑफिशियल कैंडिडेट हो सकते हैं, तो हमने स्वीकार किया। और अगर अशोक गहलोत जी चुनाव में खड़े होते हैं तो उसको हम लोग हमेशा इज्जत से देखते हैं, क्योंकि अशोक गहलोत जी एक ऐसे व्यक्ति हैं जिन्होंने हमेशा से पार्टी के हित में काम किया है और गांधी विचारधारा के हैं और लॉयल रहे हैं हमेशा पार्टी के। लेकिन ये जो अभी अप्रिय घटना हो गई जयपुर में, जिसे टाला जा सकता था, उसके कारण ये दिक्कत आ रही है।
आप ऑफिशियल कैंडिडेट हैं
नहीं।
आपने कहा कि अशोक गहलोत ऑफिशियल कैंडिडेट, क्या उनकी जगह आप ऑफिशियल कैंडिडेट हैं?
नहीं, मैं कोई ऑफिशियल कैंडिडेट नहीं हूँ। मैं अपना स्वयं के विवेक से खड़ा हुआ हूँ। मुझे किसी ने खड़ा होने के लिए नहीं कहा।
नहीं, महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि क्या अशोक गहलोत को कहा गया कि मत खड़े होइए या अपने मन से नहीं खड़े हुए हैं? क्या उनको संकेत मिले कि नो एंट्री है आपकी कैंडिडेट के तौर पे?
ये आप उनसे पूछिए, मुझसे क्यों पूछ रही हैं?
लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं जो जैसे मौसमी कह रही है, क्या ये पूरे प्रक्रिया से ये कांग्रेस अध्यक्षता पद पर एक सवाल उठा है? आप लोग कहते हैं गांधी परिवार न्यूट्रल है इसमें, लेकिन आप सब जाते हैं सोनिया जी के घर उनका एक तरह से आशीर्वाद लेने या उनको बताने, तो कहीं ना कहीं गांधी परिवार तो इन्वॉल्व है कि हु इज गांधी परिवार का कैंडिडेट, ये लोग पूछ रहे हैं।
राजदीप जी, बिना नेहरू गांधी परिवार के कांग्रेस पार्टी शून्य है, इस बात को समझ लीजिए। इस पार्टी में कई बार विभाजन हुए, लेकिन 99% कांग्रेस जनों ने इंदिरा जी से लेकर आज तक हमेशा से उस परिवार का साथ दिया जिस परिवार ने आज़ादी के पहले सर्वत्र न्यौछावर किया और आज़ादी के बाद देश की सेवा करते हुए दो हमारे इस परिवार के बड़े नेता शहीद हुए। दूसरा कोई ऐसा परिवार बता दीजिए जो जिसने इतना त्याग किया हो।
नहीं, पर यही तो बात है ना कि परिवारवाद क्या अभी भी रहेगा? अध्यक्ष बनने से क्या होगा? आप अध्यक्ष बने, शशि थरूर बने, लेकिन कमान तो गांधी परिवार के हाथों में रहेगी।
आपको परिवारवाद से इतनी नाराजगी क्यों है, मैं जानना चाहता हूँ।
मुझे नहीं, जनता जो है, आपने देखा 2 चुनाव में नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने चुनाव बनाया कामदार बनाम नामदार।
बात यह है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी कौन है, क्या है, कैसे हैं, जितना शायद दिग्विजय सिंह जानता, आप लोग नहीं जानते।
अच्छा, ये बताइए दिग्विजय जी कि लगातार ये कयास जोरों पर है कि दिग्विजय सिंह सीरियस कैंडिडेट नहीं है। आप मुस्कुरा दीजिए तो उस कयासबाजी पर और जो है दम मिल जाता है। क्या आप सीरियस कैंडिडेट हैं? कभी कहते हैं 30 तारीख को पता चल जाएगा, कभी 8 तारीख को, कब पता चलेगा कि आप लड़ रहे हैं? ऐसे कहते कहते अध्यक्ष बन जाएंगे आप पार्टी के।
मौसमी जी,
हाँ,
30 तारीख को नामांकन की आखिरी तारीख है।
हाँ।
मैं फॉर्म भर रहा हूँ। 4 तारीख को डेट ऑफ विड्रॉल है, उसके बाद पता पड़ेगा कि कौन कौन चुनाव लड़ रहा है।
यानी हो सकता है कि आप विड्रॉ करें, कल नामांकन भरने के बाद आप विड्रॉ कर दे, अगर कोई नया उम्मीदवार निकले। आप क्या केवल आप और शशि थरूर रहेंगे या कोई तीसरा उम्मीदवार निकल के आएगा?
आप 30 तारीख तक इंतजार तो करिए।
और ये हो क्या रहा है? आप जाके गले हाथ मिलाए, गले मिलाए, जाके वहाँ ट्वीट कर दिया, फ्रेंडली फाइट हो रही है, या आप लोग इतिहास रच रहे हैं क्या कांग्रेस में?
आप और शशि थरूर,
देखिए, शशि थरूर और दिग्विजय सिंह दोनों नेहरू गांधी विचारधारा के लोग हैं, गांधीयन नेहरूवियन आइडियोलॉजी के हम लोग हैं, तो हमारी विचारधारा एक है। ठीक है, हम लोग दोनों चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं, लेकिन दोनों की शक्ति, दोनों की ताकत और दोनों की बुद्धि और श्रम कांग्रेस को मजबूत करने में लगेगी।
लेकिन ये बताइए कि आप तो भारत जोड़ो यात्रा तक कल तक थे, अब आप आ गए दिल्ली, क्या होगा भारत जोड़ो यात्रा का? क्या अध्यक्ष रहेंगे या भारत जोड़ो यात्रा के संयोजक रहेंगे? व्हाट इज योर रोल? क्या रोल है आपका?
मेरा कैंडिडेचर 4 तारीख के बाद भी अगर रहता है तो मेरी कैंपेनिंग भी भारत जोड़ो यात्रा से ही चलेगी, मुझे और कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी।
तो आपको कौन वोट देगा जब आप अगर इतना मगर लगा रहे हैं? तो क्या कांग्रेस के डेलीगेट्स आपको वोट देंगे? इतना नॉन सीरियस कैंडिडेट होगा तो शशि थरूर साहब जीत जाएंगे आपसे।
ऐसा है, 17 तारीख को जब काउंटिंग होगी तब बात करेंगे ना।
आखिरी सवाल हमारा, चेहरा कौन रहेगा कांग्रेस का, राहुल गांधी या जो पार्टी अध्यक्ष बनेगा?
एक बात समझ लीजिए, मैं फिर दोहराना चाहता हूँ, बिना नेहरू गांधी परिवार के कांग्रेस पार्टी का कोई अस्तित्व नहीं रह जाता है, क्योंकि 99% कांग्रेस जन नेहरू गांधी परिवार को अपना नेता मानते थे, हैं और रहेंगे।
अच्छा, नहीं, आखिरी नहीं सवाल है, सवाल बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि देखिए लगातार ये कहा जा रहा है कि अशोक गहलोत सीएम रहेंगे। एक बहुत बड़ी खबर आई है कि सीएम रहेंगे या नहीं रहेंगे अगले 2 दिन में पता चल जाएगा। क्या दिग्विजय सिंह के लिए ये ट्रिगर था जो राजस्थान में घटना हुई? आपने कहा था कि कैंडिडेट अगर उचित नहीं हुआ तो मैं लड़ूंगा। क्या एक धाड़ा मानता है कि जो अशोक गहलोत ने किया वो पार्टी हाईकमान का अपमान था, उसका कद काट पार्टी हाईकमान का कम करने की कोशिश थी? एक मतलब ऑनेस्ट आंसर चाहिए इस पे।
मैं कोई डिसऑनेस्ट आंसर नहीं देता मौसमी जी।
तो फिर आप बेबाकी से बताइए।
मैं बता रहा हूँ कि ये जिस विषय पे आप बात कर रहे हैं ना, मेरे क्षेत्र के बाहर की बात है।
आप कह रहे हैं बियॉन्ड
यानी दिग्विजय सिंह जी कहीं ना कहीं अब डिप्लोमेटिक भी बन गए हैं। मौसमी सिंह के साथ मैं राजदीप सरदेसाई, आज तक के लिए ऑल द बेस्ट दिग्विजय सिंह जी।
थैंक यू राजदीप।
ऑल द बेस्ट।
थैंक यू मौसमी, थैंक यू।